gotta cool down, 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 cool down. I gotta cool down, 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 cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. I'm too hot for this, I gotta cool down. You sure deserve a medal. Keep pushing forward, never settle. Never settle. Keep it 100, yeah. On your way to the next level. Next level. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Time to party, but those dance moves to good use. Let your hands go up, stomp your feet. Let me see you kicking it back on the dance floor. On the dance floor. Feel the beat, electrified. Move your hips side to side on the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor. On the dance floor. Show up for yourself, never miss a single day. Be about it, let them know that you didn't come to play. 'Cause you got it, you mean it, you get there soon. And while you're grinding, making dreams come true, sometimes you gotta let your body loose. Time to party, but those dance moves to good use. Yeah. Let your hands go up, stomp your feet. Let me see you kicking it back on the dance floor.
play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
check if my name in your mouth, better add the respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is to throw. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone, throw it off in my brain and I'm bad to the bone.
Welcome back to the KDL, everybody. I am Wolf. With me is Peter today, and we have 3 team matches coming at you today, and they are some of the best you could ever hope for. How are you feeling tonight?
I am really excited, especially for those matches you mentioned, Wolf, because the team matches today are so well balanced that even with the first match not having any professional teams, it's a match between 2 amateur teams, but you know, it could go either way.
So we do have later on, Liiv SANDBOX is playing. We are going to have MIRAEN and SEJONG taking on KWANGDONG FREECS. ROX is playing. So our first matchup, as you mentioned, is going to be always against Desperado. Not the highest level match, but high stakes, especially for always down the bottom of the standings. And for our other 2 matches, we have a really, really sick lineup. But before we talk about that a little bit further, let's remind everyone what's at stake in this tournament. We'll show you guys, the overview of the tournament, some of the things that you should know if you haven't been paying attention. Here is the schedule for team matches, and you can see the postseason starts on the 18th. We'll go into a wild card match then, and it's a new format, so you get that extra spot in 5th place to have an opportunity. Then we go to upper, lower bracket finals, double elimination. The finals will be on December 9th.
And as you can see, the main stage ends on the 11th of November, so we don't have much days left before we get to that postseason. And now let's take a look at the prize pool for the season. Of course, we have a fantastic prize pool this time around for the regular season.
Yeah, it's quite large, and of course we do have that new MVP and the fan race MVP additionally there. So you can see even if you do drop out at the bottom, there's 3 million won up for grabs. You'll have to share it with your teammates, but 100 million won for the champions is quite a large prize pool. So it's a lot on the line here for our team matches. Of course, there are additional prizes available for the solo matches, but that's not what we're having today, because today is our big team match day.
And these team match days are the steps you kind of build up to get to that first place prize, right? It's looking like Kwangdong FREECS is most likely going to be our first place team in the league, but they could be challenged today.
So these are the results from last Wednesday, the 25th. You saw Kwangdong FREECS took out Finale 2-0. Not a surprise, right? Liiv SANDBOX will be playing today. Also took out Always 2-0. And then you'll see finally ROX also taking out Nutmite 2-0. So last week we had 3 2-0s, and I don't think that is going to happen today, but you could see several of the teams that are actually playing this evening did play last week. And then, of course, on Saturday, our team results, we had a pretty close series between Nutmite and Finale, and then MIRAEN and SEJONG took a perfect series against Desperado.
That was the first perfect series that we've seen so far in the season, so that's a really strong showing from MIRAEN and SEJONG, who will be playing today. And of course, in the solo matches, Hojun, Hyunsu, and Looning, 3 really big players made it out as the top 3, and then Ding and Woojun, they made it to the 5th place.
Yeah, Dusty Promise and Percent couldn't quite make the cut, but it was a pretty tough group. We called it the Group of Death, and it lived up to its name. So glad to see Hojun go through. His driving has been phenomenal. The guy has been around forever, and he just does not weaken as a player. I'm always really happy when I see older players continuing to do well in newer leagues. And Hojun, maybe he could take the whole thing. Maybe he wins the first KDL season here in 2023.
That's certainly what the fans want to see. We've had preseason 1 and preseason 2 Kickstarter KDL, and he's been doing well, which is reflected in the standings. We can see MIRAEN and SEJONG in second place right now. They're 3-1. If they take down Kwangdong Freaks today, you know, they could overtake them. They just need to get better in the set scores.
Yeah, notice also they have a round score advantage over Kwangdong Freaks. They did, of course, take that +6 from their perfect match against Desperado, so that is part of the reason why they are so high up there. But as you mentioned, a win today, especially a dominant one, would push them closer. If they 2-0 Kwangdong Freaks, it will put them ahead of them, in fact, in first place. So very big one. Liiv SANDBOX struggling a little bit this season compared to seasons past. They've had a tough strength of schedule, but definitely a win they need to take tonight against Seongnam ROX if they're going to solidify their position in the standings. They do not want to play in that wild card match. They'd rather just go straight to postseason.
Certainly so, and for our amateur teams, Desperado and Always really needs to win against Desperado today to have a chance to make it to the postseason, whereas Desperado, they're honestly in a very solid position right now. They need to make sure that they don't fail to capitalize a win off of today.
Yeah. Always can still make postseason, make that wild card match, but it is really important to win this one. You can see they're not the favorites. In fact, 15-85 here. This is our fan prediction. Seongnam ROX against Liiv SANDBOX, very heavily favoring Liiv SANDBOX, even with some of the slump we had this season. We checked the poll earlier, and it was actually almost reverse. A lot more people expecting Seongnam ROX, but as more votes came in, people went back to Liiv SANDBOX. And then a pretty contentious final prediction here. MIRAEN and SEJONG picking up almost 40. That's literally what you predicted. There would be a 60-40.
Yeah.
And it's almost exactly that.
Certainly so. MIRAEN and SEJONG look so good this season, but because Kwangdong Freaks, they're undefeated and they are that preseason champions, we can see the fans putting a lot of trust there. And I'm just really surprised about the 81% on the side of Liiv SANDBOX, because I feel like Seongnam ROX, despite not having a roster that we've seen proven time and time again, they have had a phenomenal result so far. Even better than Liiv SANDBOX if you take a look at the standings. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's more evenly matched than an 81-20.
We'll see if Liiv SANDBOX can take this one, because I think there are believers and there are doubters, right, for Liiv SANDBOX this season. There are people who are like, no, they had a pretty tough strength of schedule. They had some rough losses. They should have won. They didn't play up to their standards. I could trust this team. This team always goes deep. Well, there are other people saying maybe the time of Liiv SANDBOX is over. You know, some of these other teams are looking better and better. We have MSJ coming through. Seongnam ROX looks strong this season. Kwangdong Freaks definitely looks to be clearly better at this moment in time than Liiv SANDBOX. So, you know, for Liiv SANDBOX, now's the time to prove that it's not just a fluke. It wasn't just a weak start to the season.
But before we can talk about Liiv SANDBOX, of course, we do have the first match of the day between Team Always and Desperado, as Team Always first takes the stage. And if there's anything about this team that stands out, it's Diamond.
Yeah, I mean, he is a very skilled player. And this roster, obviously, we talked about how it has a very large group of players they can pull from here. But Diamond, the speed ace, the ace player, looked fantastic in Always his first win, their only win so far of the season. And I think he's a player who has a lot of potential. Maybe he moves to a different roster after this season if they don't make postseason, but they're definitely aiming to. Desperado, on the other hand, their opponent tonight feels like a rising crowd favorite, right? You know, Banana at the helm here. This is a team that has so many famous players. This is a team you want to root for. And they are on the edge of being a top team here in the KDL 2023 season, but they're not there yet.
They're not there yet, but they're on a good path, so they really need to make sure they're able to win today against Team Always, which is arguably a easier opponent to face than a lot of the other professional teams that we have. For instance, Team Always is really struggling in speed, so if Desperado can win speed and also have a good performance in item, like they have already been doing throughout the season, then it should be a fairly straightforward win condition for them.
I think so, and you've got to recover from that loss against MIRAEN and SEJONG just a few days ago. That's a tough loss. I mean, MSJ definitely one of the best teams and one of the big dark horses to win it all, but you do not want to fall 0-6 like that. So time to bounce back. Now for Always here, first victory in speed match. Has ALS finally opened the gates? That is the question everyone is asking. As you see, Ming, Diamond, Move, Knight, and Node are lined up using the doing the little fan placards. I don't know what there's like a name for this now. This was not in my esports generation, right? You know, I'm one of the older esports casters. It's a new trending thing, and I don't know what they're called, but they're holding them up. They've got a lot of support from the fans here, even though they are an amateur team.
And they're saying, we thought the venue was going to collapse with all the cheering.
Yeah, like I said, getting more popular these days, this roster. But they still have a long way to go, and their postseason is definitely not guaranteed. They need to take this upset tonight.
And that upset is going to be key for whether Diamond will get some support as he runs for the top positions. But of course, Team Desperado, this team hasn't been struggling as much as Team Always as far as speed goes. And of course, in the item mode, they have Banana there, one of our starred players. They have a 100% win rate right now against amateur teams, so they really need to keep that up.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the cutoff point we've been seeing with a lot of these teams, is you can't beat the pros, you can beat the amateurs, and these players are so experienced. And so there's a world in which, you know, Desperado starts to break that ceiling and beat some of the pro teams later on, but you cannot, you know, go from losing to MIRAEN and SEJONG and then drop to Always if you want to actually keep the hope alive. They have the confidence. 2-0. Banana puts up 2 fingers. 2-0, that's what we're looking for tonight. This is what he is saying to everybody. He looks confident. He's got that little sheepish grin. And I think there's no denying that they are massive favorites tonight, but one slip-up could change everything in the standings.
And that slip-up can't happen today. As we take a look at the speed track list, we have Team Always getting the first choice for the speed track because Team Desperado, they won the coin flip and they actually prioritize item mode. And we can see World Tour, Miami Drive, Bayside Bridge Run, Shanghai Circuit for Team Always. So we're not seeing the standard tracks that we see a lot from the confident professional teams. Actually, it was Team Desperado taking those tracks that I just mentioned.
Yeah. Handy Harbor banned. You know, we saw that be a MIRAEN SEJONG favorite. We'll see if we see it later on tonight, but definitely a track that, you know, I think if you're the stronger team, you might say, let's play on this one because we're better than you, but also a track with a lot of volatility where if you mess up just once, you might end up losing that one. So starting things off on Miami Drive, also pretty interesting here. One of our newer tracks. We'll see if Always have prepared those booster lines here. Maybe they can take the upset, but it has to start right here, right now on World Tour Miami Drive. Here we go, Always versus Desperado. We are getting close to the end of the regular season here for the 2023 KDL. And Desperado with a fantastic start.
They are definitely breaking apart from the group of Team Always right now. Diamond, the only one once again trying to contest. Finally, Move does make it, but 1-2-3 is pretty firm in the hands of Desperado as Diamond, he takes some big collisions there.
Yeah, Diamond's collision definitely going to hurt their momentum quite a bit. I mean, it's a 1-2-3-4 right now, and Promise can sweep alone. Look at the gap. You could see it in the mini-map there, picture in picture. The overhead is just showing you that Diamond is trying to break through it. Promise is basically just sacrificing his speed to actually widen that gap. A 1-2 is a win condition. A 1-2-3, you know, is just a bonus. And Diamond, you know, he had that really rough collision, but he is recovering now.
He's recovering, but not enough to get within the range to draft. So I feel like Desperado has a pretty free one right now. Free Sky does take a big collision and now opens up a lot of the room for Diamond. You can see Ming and Knight also trying to catch up. So if Diamond can at least break the 1-2, that's hope number one for Team Always.
Yeah, really tough here. Nice line there on the booster. You start the drift before you take the jump. You follow it up on the landing. Knight popped back to 8th place here, but that mistake from Free Sky, it looks like it might not matter that much unless Diamond can break up this 1-2. And they're going to need more than that because, as we just showed, Knight and Ming are so far behind.
Yeah, you can see a lot of fights in the back line, but just as you said, Wolf, Ming and Knight, they are not within range to help Diamond at all. Diamond did manage to close the gap here as he takes a tight line there, and he could get in the range to draft, but Striker with a great sweeping.
Yeah, Diamond here just gets blocked out by Striker, and we are in the last 500 meters now. Diamond, I mean, he just could not compete. He's being blocked here. Is going to try to pass Striker the last possible second. Won't be successful. Wouldn't have mattered either way, though, because there's a 1-2-4 right now. There would have been otherwise a 1-3-4, which is also a win condition here in Team Speed. Rough start for Always here on their track selection. And it's just one of those races that reminds you there are a team of clear favorites here on the track.
That's what we saw in this first round. It was Diamond trying so hard to deny that 1-2 coming out of Desperado, but it felt like Ghost and Striker. This is the main two duo that you want to keep your eyes on when you see Team Desperado play on speed, because they're the ones always trying to contest 1-2, and when that strategy is not challenged, it's going to be really hard to have a comeback.
And starts are so important. I mean, teams like Aura in the past in the preseasons, like Kwangdong now, the best team at it, and MIRAEN and SEJONG have proven the start is so important. And you get that formation, it's so hard to break. We're going to go to World Tour Terracotta Twister. This is now the track selection of Desperado to see if they could take a 2-0 lead.
And here we go on round 2 of Speed and Terracotta Twister as Desperado. They are leading 1-0, and this time we can see always they have a much better start than track number 1.
Oh, definitely. It's a very competitive start, though. Neither team really pulling that far ahead, but always Move and Diamond going to push up here, but they collide with each other. Still going to recover here, and FREECS and Striker way at the back, so this is definitely looking way better for Always, at least in our first lap.
That's what it looks like. Diamond gets some nice blocking there on Ghost, making sure that Ghost can't pass him. It seems like Diamond's going to be the first one to enter our tunnel here. And we see the players. It seems like a player from Always did take a pretty big collision.
Yeah, definitely did. I think it might have been Move back there, but he's dropped back to 6th place now. Diamond needs to hold on to this first, and that alone won't be enough. But if he gets passed by either Ghost or FREECS, it looks really rough here for Desperado, or rather for Always, that is to say. Right now, Desperado, though, just 1 point behind. You can see that Ming is significantly far behind the rest of the pack, but it's definitely not a lead that's insurmountable.
The midfield is key right now for Team Always. They need to be keeping up their positions for Diamond, because Diamond has such a good lead in first place. Ghost and FREECS so desperate to catch up. And now we can see Move and Ming locked down into 7th and 8th. They need to get past Striker.
Yeah, or Knight needs to end up getting into 2nd place. I mean, those are the only ways that this is going to go well. Oh, huge collision there for Move. Way in the back now. You can see that there in picture as Ghost will take first place, and now it's looking pretty doomed here for Always. You just do not have enough manpower here to actually pass Ghost, and Ming and Move are so far behind. Ming's far behind, but that's not as far behind as Move is.
It's looking so good for Desperado here as Ghost. He managed to take the first place away from Diamond, and it seems to be a 1-3-5-6 finish coming out of Desperado.
Yeah, Desperado 7 points the lead here, and a much closer race on the first track, but still very dominant in terms of its finish. And just some small mistakes there. Terracotta Twister, not an easy track, but it is one of the most basic and common ones here at the KDL. Perhaps some nerves here for Always as they see their postseason slipping away. And now it is match point here in speed for Desperado. And what's felt like a very quick start to this matchup. Ghost and Diamond, two players I put in the same category right now, Peter, of players that are very high potential, clearly have, you know, even some of the veterans, they've kind of already surpassed them, but their team isn't holding the weight. And Diamond was up at the front for so long, he had control of the race, but his teammates just couldn't hold up their end. And ultimately, he just runs out of steam as he is outnumbered by Desperado members there.
That's the reason why Team Always, they've only won 1 round in speed so far, and it's looking pretty rough against Team Always here in speed. Track number 3, however, is picked by Always. Let's see if they can turn it around in Village Bayside Bridge Run.
Off we go, a 2-0 lead. Desperado 1 win away from actually getting a 3-0 here in speed. Striker leads, and Diamond, nice tight line there on the outer to actually take first.
But if you take a look at the midfield, FREECS gets a phenomenal block there, and now Diamond, once again, he's playing alone against 4 members of Desperado. Striker's applying that pressure now.
Yeah, it does feel like Diamond's playing a little bit of a 1v7 game here, but FREECS back there in 6th place, continuing to try to sweep out Ming and Move, and I feel like it's deja vu from our previous track. Ming and Move far behind, Knight unable to break through, FREECS is sweeping, and Diamond once again just outnumbered here at the front, and Ghost can just sacrifice himself, just continue to ram him into these walls.
Ghost has been doing a great job, knowing he just needs to keep Diamond locked down as the pressure forces Diamond and Ming to collide into each other. Now the midfield actually looks okay for Team Always. I can't say it looks great, but they need to shut down this 1-2 from Desperado.
Yeah, somebody has to break it. And it's going to be Diamond if it's going to be anybody. Ming, I mean, recovered really well here. He's actually going to draft off a Diamond.
Ooh.
And now, I mean, there's a win condition here. Diamond, all he has to do is pass Striker. If they can maintain their current positions, maybe Always could put one on the board.
And you can see Ghost really trying to catch up. Now Ming, he's going to fall completely out of his line there. Now, once again, Desperado in great position. Striker attempted some block there, but Diamond and Ming, they're back for some action.
Great usage of team boost there from Desperado to try to regain control. And right now, FREECS 1-2 is the win condition here. 300 meters to go. Final turn here. They've got to pass FREECS, and they are not going to do it. 1-2 will come through, and Desperado takes speed 3-0.
Man, I loved the adaptation between running for the 1-2. Not only that, but also sweeping that came out of Ghost and FREECS that game. I feel like Team Always definitely had a better shot in this track number 3 than any other rounds we've seen, because Diamond actually finally had his backup, but the sweeping from their opponents was just too much.
FREECS had a great race.
Yep.
I mean, yes, Ghost took first place and had that really nice Team Nitro he used there to regain control of top 2. But I feel like this game was all about FREECS. His sweeping was fantastic. He maintained control of top 2. He blocked Diamond so much. And Desperado, there were some challenges here, but otherwise feels like that 2-0 they were asking for might come true. We are going to move into item mode, though, and things can change here. We will have some substitutions, of course. Node coming in for Ming, for Team Always. And they did, Desperado, choose item priority, to remind everyone. So, Always, you know, they just played with their advantage in speed in terms of track selection and got 3-0'd, and now they're playing in Desperado's court. And this is what Desperado has always been most known for, is item mode, more than speed. So the toughest challenge is yet to begin.
Just as you put it, Wolf, this is where things get even more rough as we see Banana being swapped in for Ghost. And Team Desperado, their game plan today clearly was to win item. That's the only place where they felt a real challenge from Always, and now that they've won speed 3-0, they got that momentum going for them. It's going to be scary if Desperado wins his first track in item as well.
And Banana, I mean, is there a more iconic item ace than Banana? Like, just name one. Oh, wait. Yeah, I didn't think so, no. Banana, iconic, okay? You look at him, he's smiling. He did a little dance a moment ago. He's pumped. He's ready to go. He said, yeah, maybe we got 6-0'd by MIRAEN SEJONG last week. Not tonight. We're going to be the 6-0ers because they look so confident. We are going to Glacier Polar Halfpipe as well for round 3, and this is Banana's playground, okay? A rare World Tour Venice Gondola to come through in round 1. And you see the London Night here, chosen by Always, also a track that Banana and Desperado have been very good at across Banana's career here in the KDL preseasons. So it all looks like it's coming up Desperado. If Always can force an ace match and Diamond can take on Ghost, I mean, that's what you're looking for right now. Obviously, that's the path. But walking that path, or driving that road here tonight is going to be so difficult. But it has to start now. The comeback has to begin as we go to the rare World Tour Venice Gondola Tour.
And here we go, our item round 1 begins, and this is going to be a 3-star difficulty track, so we're gonna have those hectic sirens coming in as we see a nice utilization of that water whips. However, it's not gonna stop Knight from getting his double items.
Now there are some wider parts of this track. There's the really funny gondola part here, which is great. I actually got caught by the water bomb there.
Yeah.
But in the narrow parts, that's where the siren is going to be at its most valuable. See how Move decides to use it here. He is very close. Yep,
Oh,
that's
there we
also
go.
blocked
Oh.
though. Banana almost recovered that too.
But he did fall out of the map. Now FREECS gonna take a water whisk to his face. Move trying to get the lead, but Promise is right on his tails.
That's actually quite significant that Banana drops out there, because he's usually the finisher for tracks like this for his team, and the fact that he's in 8th place here in an only 2-lap track means it's very unlikely he'll be able to make it back to that pole position. He is rising through the ranks quite quickly, but still, Diamond here holding onto a magnet, see if he can pick up. Oh, he's just actually going to use it for tempo.
Yeah, and he's going to catch up to his teammates now. 3 players from Always up at top. Striker trying to keep them at bay. The UFO attempted to get some work done, but Move has so much defensive options.
Yeah. Banana's still back in 7th. Lightning picked up here for Desperado and a UFO here, so they could try to use that in tandem with Striker as the big Banana.
Ooh.
He messed it up. He's gonna cause himself to spin out.
Some nice water bomb there is going to change up the tempo now. It's Promise taking a huge lead. Diamond, he doesn't have any items, but his teammate is there to back him up as we see Promise. He's holding on to a Lightning.
And FREECS falls off there. Lightning comes out. Banana, oh man, he is just getting tossed into the river. It's the second time, but he's popping back in here. Can he actually get a shield? He does. Wait a minute, 500 meters to go. They've only got EMPs to hit him. There's a water bomb here. Can he hit it? FREECS, he's gonna try to nitro his way around, takes the shortcut, and he hit that water bomb. Doesn't need it. Banana's just gonna take it.
Banana was there, like you said, Wolf. He's the one that's always finishing off these tracks, and he made it. He recovered through all the dives he took into the river. This is why we constantly highlight Banana as our item ace.
Iconic, I'm telling you. My man Banana, he's gonna get it done. And he got pushed in the river twice. You know, he got hit by the water bomb on the gondola section as well, and he still gets through first. He has FREECS to back him up with a water bomb. He didn't need it. He picked up that Banana, and unfortunately for Always, they just didn't have any items to catch Banana. He just tosses the shield on as he crosses the finish line just to make sure. But his driving is just so good, and despite being, I mean, all the cards were stacked against him, as we've said several times, he's still the one who crosses first, and he just knows item better than almost any other player.
Yeah, we can definitely see that Team Desperado, they were able to bait out a lot of offensive items from Team Always earlier on, which is why near the end there, they've only had a Nitrous and EMP waves up their arsenal, which wasn't what they needed to catch up to Banana, but now Team Always, they have a chance to come back here in track number 2, which will be held in World Tour London Nights.
On the streets of London, we will see if Always can come back here. Down 0-1 so far in item, went 0-3 in speed, so 4 tracks down in a row. Knight currently in first place. It's a good start. Ooh, Banana. Ooh. Banana's just getting trolled by the environments today.
Leave Banana alone.
Leave
Let him drive.
alone.
We want to see some safe driving here in Kartrider, not crashing into a bus full of citizens, as we see now Promise leading the pack. He's holding on to items not really ideal for that top spot, so he's going to fall back for a bit.
Yeah, it's really awkward for him too, because he's only just a little bit behind Diamond, and even the barricade's going to hit him. So he's like, I'm holding on to this magnet, and I can't get any value out of it. This is really unfortunate. There's no value out of going double items either. Okay, now maybe he'll use it if Diamond pulls further ahead. It's just Water Balloon City here.
That's what it looks like as Knight went for a nice attempt of his own water bomb, but it didn't connect. Promise with a great utilization. Going to be able to block out these UFOs, but not that one.
Yeah. Promise, I mean, if he gets to hold on to this magnet to the 3rd lap and continues to hold this lead, I mean, look at how far ahead he is. It's not like a lead that you can't catch up, but if he gets to hold magnet and then use it at the last second, doesn't need to hold or stack shields. I mean, FREECS got 2 Angels. Yeah, and now he's got an EMP, so it's really hard to actually take this guy out.
That is the game plan on the side of Desperado, whereas Team Always, they do have 1 Lightning to bait out an Angel, but outside of that, they do pick up a magnet. Move is going to hold on to that for a while now, so Move and Promise, these 2 players are going to be key to our final lap here.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't use the Angel there on that initial Lightning, since they have 2 stacked up, but they really want to have that additional buffer range for that last 500 meters.
And Promise picks up a Lightning for himself as well, a magnet in his pocket. The Lightning is going to get popped. The Diamond is so far ahead right now, he's holding on to a double Nitrous.
FREECS in first place with those Angels. Magnet Rush ready for Striker. He's going to pop it here with the Angel, pushing on the Move. Ooh. Move gets caught. This is really bad for Always.
And an Angel going to get popped there just in case something comes in the way of Striker. Desperado going to take the 5th round in a row here. That's 2-0 in items now. This team is looking to repeat a perfect match that we've seen from MIRAEN and SEJONG.
Yeah, against them, they're going to try to bring it back to neutral, you know?
Yeah.
And they're one track away from doing it. And I hate to say it if you're an Always fan, but it just looks like they're going to do it. It looks like it's going to happen. I mean, there's almost no resistance here. Unfortunately, Diamond tried his best in that one, but the item usage wasn't what it needed to be, I think, to actually push the players who had the correct items for a finish coming in. You say it's 2-0, and we are one track away from it, and you know where we're going. I mentioned it earlier. Glacier Polar Halfpipe for the next track. Track that Banana loves, that Desperado has looked great on. A tougher track to play on. It's their track choice. This deck is stacked.
Desperado looking to come in with the vengeance. They don't want to get 3-0'd. They want to 3-0 their opponents, and they have that chance here on our 3rd round of item here in Glacier Polar Halfpipe. This is match point now here in item round 3. If Desperado wins, we will not have an ace match, as we see Banana being the leader for Team Desperado, trying to get the items first, whatever he can.
Yeah, Banana, the legendary item ace here of Desperado. To take that lead, now holds on to an Angel, so we'll see how he wants to use that. This is a 3-lap track, so he could try to use it for tempo, or he might just play a more supportive role in this track and try to stack those. Is going to probably just toss that EMP away here. Doesn't need that.
Ooh, a nice water bomb there from Promise is going to catch out 2 members of Always. Now you can see a lot of tempo is in the favor for Team Desperado. FREECS, he's got a EMP as well. Unfortunately, not going to be able to block a Water Wisp with it.
No, unfortunately not, but they have 4 Angels stacked up. That is pretty defensive what they can do. Now, the Angels are heavy in that, like, you know, it's going to cost you item slots here, so they need to actually maintain advantage. I like this. Use it for tempo. Try to get FREECS into a winning position here. Guarantee they can make this jump without a hassle. And now just try to cycle through some additional items. Promise goes for 2 there. Actually only gets the EMP, though.
Yeah, and you can see Always really holding on to their nitrous, so they're forming a game plan around that item usage as Desperado. They're also making sure to have at least 3 Angels there, as we see some crazy attacks being fiercely traded between the teams.
If you look at Always' item setup here, they have a few Nitros, so, you know, if they want to use that to try to get the high ground and make a magnet play, they need to pick up a magnet. You know, they don't have great tools here. Desperado, on the other hand, only offensive items they've gone through, and we're just going up all Nitro right now, basically. FREECS got 2, Diamond's got 2. It's going to be a fast finish, maybe even a photo finish here. They go on the high ground, like I said. Node passes.
Yeah, Promise gets targeted by the attack. Now Node in the lead with the shield. It feels like a lot of pressure is on the shoulders of Node here. He picks up a double shield for himself.
Hey, FREECS picks up a Banana. That's not what he wants. Not going to help his teammate with that one. That's a yikes moment for me, and Node might just take it. It's got the shield.
Ooh, that looked close near the end, but Node able to come in right in time to bring a round score back on the board. Now 1-2. You know, it's still a tough road ahead for Always, but it looks much better now.
It does look much better. I mean, it does feel like that was way closer than it needed to be, but it was good enough, right? They had the better setup there at the end. That Banana usage, Promise of FREECS definitely, there's a little bit of a head scratcher there, but, you know, it's not the item they were looking for. Sometimes the RNG gods aren't going to be on your side. They couldn't pick up a magnet. I think they were really hoping for that, and they just tossed those Nitros out and couldn't get the pass. And that's what it comes down to here in the end. So we are going to go to Factory Cogwheel Crush, which is, of course, the track selection of Always. If they can win on their track choice here, which Cogwheel Crush used to be a staple in like PS1, a lot rarer these days. If they can win here, bring it to 5, win that one, I mean, who's to say Diamond can't beat Ghost? I think that's about as close as it gets. I mean, that's almost a 50-50. Got to get there first. Got to win 2 in a row here on Cogwheel Crush, then a 3rd to get the reverse sweep and force the ace. Let's find out if they can do it. Always finally on the board here. But it is one step of 3. They will need to force the ace.
That's what Always needs to do. They need to get Diamond into that ace match, but for now, we are looking at the inventory. We're seeing a lot of offensive items that's going to get quickly cycled through. Banana picks up a magnet. He's going to be the first one to have that up his sleeve.
And Node dropping down here with Knight. Numbers definitely favoring Desperado right now, with Banana having a magnet early too. Look at how far ahead he is.
Yeah,
Quite significant.
Got a surmountable lead over there, and now Promise is up here to absorb a lot of the aggro, hopefully, as Knight's going to speed up, but he gets caught out by the Water Wisp. Banana, he's trying to make a run for it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing that they were, you know, we've talked about a lot, this new strategy.
Ooh.
That was a rough one. Knight is going to be able to pull ahead, though.
Yeah, Banana got a huge setback off that one. He tried to wait for the portal to open, but it didn't work out in his favor. Promise is going to be able to quickly shake away the magnet that was targeting him, but the Water Wisp catches him. Now it's Knight and Move contesting Promise.
Triple Lightning and a Big Banana. Big Banana placement pretty good there. Banana, though, hits his namesake. He knows how to dodge those. Oh, that was sick!
Nice.
That was really well played there with the Siren.
Yeah.
But he does not have that magnet anymore. It's Striker who's in position to potentially use that for a magnet rush finish. He's going to be able to shield this lightning, at least part of it here, and come through. Move, Diamond, Node all on his tail. He's got another shield. He's going to have to hold on to it for a little bit longer.
And Striker's also got a magnet up his sleeve, so he'll be able to catch up if Diamond gets too far ahead, which we will see happen because Diamond has double nitrous.
Yeah. All right, Knight also has the, you know, the Magnet Rush combo.
Yeah.
So he's one of the scariest threats here for Desperado. And that shield's not going to do anything against that. They don't have any EMPs. That Wisp, if used correctly, could buy a lot of space, but FREECS doesn't get the opportunity. Now Lightning's out.
And there's so many magnets.
He's got Magnet Rush. Can he utilize it well? Diamond in a better position.
But he's going to get spun out by that one, and it looks like Banana to man. He does it again, and he brings a victory in item round 4. And now Desperado, they take the day 2-0 in sets like they promised.
Yeah, I didn't see who had that shot onto Diamond there, but that was the winning moment. I mean, Banana set it up. He had Magnet Rush, and somebody was watching Promise, or rather Diamond, because they knew he also was setting up for that combo. He went on the high ground, and then he got hit. And that allowed Banana to actually pass him there below. You can see the passes here, you know, a lot on the side of Always because they kept getting so close, but couldn't ultimately maintain it. And the iconic Banana is gonna do something. I'm not sure yet. I thought he was gonna do a celebration, but not really actually. But that's okay because he's happy, he's always happy. And we're happy to see Desperado bounce back after what was a tough loss last week.
Certainly.
And for Always, postseason has never felt further away.
For Always, it's looking as grim as it can be. Honestly, if you go back to the drawing board, the problem has been the speed. They need to step it up. They can't keep relying on item and ace match to win. And unfortunately, without winning in that item today, there's no shot at the ace. So Desperado took a quick win in speed, 3-0 and 3-1 for item.
Yeah. Very quick speed. Item got a little bit more competitive, but Desperado looking good in item. That's what they're most famous for. I think we saw some improvements from them in speed as well, to be honest. Like, they looked better today than they have in a lot of their other games this season. So, again, strength of opponent is different here against Always, but if they can tighten that up, I mean, maybe they could be one of the secret OP teams that goes through postseason. But this is a win they needed to take. They absolutely could not have been upset here, and of course, the reverse is true for Always. They really desperately needed this, and now it feels pretty doomed to make that wild card spot. Desperado, a team that is a big fan favorite. I think one of the more popular teams in the West, especially. And they'll take this momentum forward. This will put them at 3-2, currently ahead of Liiv SANDBOX. If Liiv SANDBOX loses their match against Seongnam ROX, that'll put Desperado in top 4.
Desperado definitely looking like the team out of all our amateur rosters that will make it to that postseason. And today was a really great day for Desperado because when it comes to this team and speed, you have to keep your eyes on Ghost and Striker because those two duos are the most aggressively contesting that 1-2 win condition for their team. And today we've seen them pull it off beautifully, you know. They were able to sweep out their opponents in the opportune timings. So you can see their form is really on point right now.
FREECS definitely looking really good today. I think one of the big standouts for me. But we do, of course, guys, have 3 team matches today. That was just our first of the 3. We are going to be coming back with Seongnam ROX against Liiv SANDBOX, a must-win for both of these teams. Liiv SANDBOX having a bit of a struggle this season. Seongnam ROX kind of on the up and up. So if Liiv SANDBOX end up losing this, you know, I think it's going to say a lot about the doubters, right? The doubters, because we talked about it earlier, there are the supporters and the doubters.
There certainly are, both, you know, mixed into the bag. Liiv SANDBOX, as you said, they're having such a tough time. But if they win against Seongnam ROX, I feel like that's what matters, because right now you need the momentum going forward, and you can kind of just forget about the past unfortunate events.
Yeah, and we have seen Liiv SANDBOX, you know, bounce back in a big way in previous seasons, especially in Kartrider League. But we are going to take a short break, guys. When we come back, that matchup we just talked about will be up soon.
to be Hojun. So it's going to be the OG Emperor himself trying to defend the throne here for MIRAEN SEJONG.
Here, but Looning, he's still within the range to draft, so he's applying that pressure back onto Hojun.
Yeah, and Hojun's just trying to play the stop game, but eventually, yeah, he's gonna find that to try to make sure he catches up to Hojun. He stops him, gets his own second boost right on time, is able to keep the lead, now neck and neck again, but Hojun, oh, this
Boost gauge difference, he's leading right now in front of Looning.
And Looning, does he play aggressively around the 90 degrees? No, he can't. Mate doesn't have a shot. Looning will have one more opportunity if he's able to get the draft once they land here from the jump, but Hojun's trying to line himself up, make sure he can block anything, and another nice sweep from Hojun to make sure the outside turn does not come in from Looning. What a read, such awareness from the veteran himself, the king.
The ace match against Seongnam ROX, and although they suffered a setback,
Tried to just get into the lead, and now he has it.
and he has also the better line right now. I was gonna say until Striker came in
Oh!
with a very aggressive.
Half range as they get onto this bridge. So Ding, it's now up to you. Do you decide to try to block as you are right now? Do you give it up? Go for your own draft towards the ending.
Ooh.
Striker with what a block on
Matchup, but he does have a better maintenance on his boost gauge, and he has the draft range as well.
Yeah, he's got full boost right now. Striker knows this. He knows he has to just play for the blocks. Both of them going on the sidewalk. Ding, can he go for the aggressive play? No, he spins out a
Striker!
little too far. Striker is able to just absolutely cut the corner to perfection. Meanwhile, Ding, he tries to go for the straight boost.
Come through as they try to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, but we saw what Konsu was able to do on that previous round. But look at Hero, he finds that opening as they come out.
On slowing down Jimin a little bit, not really focused on getting 1-2 himself. Just trying to set up for Hojun, another player that could be a speed ace on many teams as Hero continues.
Seemingly deciding that they're going to be the 1-2 punch. So it's up to Byung-Soo now for the blocks. Hero, he's constantly looking for a good opportunity. Look at that. He not only threads the needle himself, tried to block out Hyunsu. It doesn't pay off in the end, but a great attempt again from Hero. He's trying to buy so much time, but Hojun and guard, they're still further behind.
I mean, Hero's just doing an incredible job. There's been a 1v2 or 1v3, and he's just able to find the inner line and evade the body fight, just threading the needle, as you said, and trying to buy time. And now Hojun is getting closer, so right now it's looking like a Liiv SANDBOX victory, but if MIRAEN SEJONG could come out with some heroics here as we enter the final stretch. Hero now in first place, 500 meters left to go. Liiv SANDBOX, they're falling behind, they're going for the build. Up here on the curb, Hero still in first place, but Liiv SANDBOX, they do not have enough points on the board. It's gonna be a 1-4-5-6 for MSJ as they take speed mode 3-1 over Liiv SANDBOX.
Hero, absolutely.
Place we see him drive off the track is now it's gonna be Hojun with double shields in first, and Hero
Might come down to a speed race at the very end of the third lap.
does kind of feel that way. Oh, I love this siren from guard, actually getting
as well. EMP on guard. The defenses are there for MIRAEN SEJONG.
oh, but the water balloon comes through. Two of the MIRAEN SEJONG players get caught as we have 300 meters left to go. It's gonna be double shield right now on Hero. Jimin gonna make a play right there with a nice but he gets caught by a water wisp. Byung-Soo, no, he doesn't! He doesn't! I thought he had it! And instead, MIRAEN SEJONG just absolutely pumped.
Korea. Then he said, yeah, I'm gonna just sit this one out. And then now he comes back. He's still in contention for this entire race. Still gonna have to take as we go through these curves.
That guard right now in first place does fall in a second. It's actually not your nitrous gauge anymore. Everyone's gonna go on the left side build here. Will now in first place, guard right behind him.
Yeah, Will just trying to deviate from the pack a bit earlier to make sure he doesn't get bumped out. That allows him to keep the inner line. He's trying to stay just 1 inch ahead, but Cole out of nowhere from 7th place all the way. Poses in store. That's his pose, but it just works so well for this very first track.
You're gonna see through his mind's eye what was gonna happen. He's like, yeah.
check if my name in your mouth, better add the respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck, run up on you like. This ain't a game, my aim is to throw. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone, throw it off in my brain and I'm back to the bone.
Welcome back, everyone, to the KDL 2023. It is time for our second matchup of the evening. We're getting into the good ones now. We had a pretty one-sided start to the night, but now it's Seongnam ROX taking on Liiv SANDBOX.
This is going to be a huge rivalry moment right now because both teams desperately need a win against the professional team, and Seongnam ROX are going to be the first to take the stage, and they're looking very confident given that their opponents are none other than Liiv SANDBOX.
Yeah, Liiv SANDBOX, the most famous organization in kart rider history, but haven't been able to find the same success they had in Kart Rider League in KDL just yet. It is our first season here in ROX Esports with a new roster, are turning it up in a big way. Looning, of course, our defending champion from preseason 2, looking to make waves here in this one. And then it's household names here for Liiv SANDBOX. You know, you have Jimin, Hyunsu, Neil, and Byungsu on the starting roster here for speed. And Jimin, of course, moving away from Item Ace after finding a lot of success in solos in the first 2 preseasons. Neil looking determined today. Serious faces coming around. I would say favorites tonight, but that's what they have to prove, and I think they know that all eyes are on them right now because they have been, honestly, let's be real, it's been their worst season since Kart Rider Drift came out. They're 2-2, okay, it's been a tough strength of schedule, but this is not the kind of finish Liiv SANDBOX fans are expecting.
Certainly not, especially with Desperado picking up their 3rd match win today. Liiv SANDBOX, they're behind them now. So if they lose against Seongnam ROX, that could even mean they may struggle to make it to postseason. So today is going to be an incredibly important day for both of our professional teams here, some of our strongest teams in the whole entire league, as we first take a look at Seongnam ROX. And I love that they're pointing out, our producers, the player Navi. Navi has been a critical player for Seongnam ROX. He's been a great support for Looney.
Yeah, he really has been. And you could say it's like he's navigator. All right, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I've been pretty impressed with Boong as well. I think really coming onto the scene as a relative unknown compared to some of the people on this roster, and he has looked pretty good. We're ready to learn a lesson. I think this is a reference to what Liiv SANDBOX told them last time around. Again, ROX, a team that I think really came through this season as one of the big underdogs. People weren't sure this roster would look, but they can prove a lot tonight, solidify themselves a top 3 spot, potentially top 2 depending on what happens with MIRAEN and SEJONG later on. Liiv SANDBOX, the gods of Kart Rider, you know, Neil, Jimin, Byungsu, Hyunsu, Darda, the Item Ace, a team that should be doing better than they are. And the question is why, and nobody has the answer. A little bit more serious today coming into this one. Their new item strategy, if we run, you can't catch us. So that more tempo-based, lead-based, getting one player super far ahead style. We'll see if they can do it tonight.
And you can see Liiv SANDBOX feeling super confident, saying, you know, we scrimmed quite frequently, and we're just going to see who's better, because I think Liiv SANDBOX is clearly implying that they've won against Seongnam ROX so many times in scrims that might be what we see reflected on stage today.
Could be. Let's take a look at the track selection here, as it was Liiv SANDBOX who did not win the toss, and speed priority will go to Seongnam ROX, as you can see here. Brazil circuit into Mexico Touring Rally, into World Tour Terracotta, then Miami Drive, and then Shanghai circuit. So we start things off on Brazil circuit and Mexico Touring Rally, which are 2 world tracks that are very much let's say terrain-based. You know, you're cutting through grass on Brazil circuit, on Touring Rally. You're dealing with a lot of sharp turns where you can actually take wider or tighter inners than you can really on any other track. It's very unique. It's a one-lapper. And then Terracotta Twister, the classic one. That might be all we see if we do see a 3-0 here, but I don't expect that.
Yes, and you can see the bans from both teams really reflected the respect they have on their opponent, just banning out the hard tracks and taking out that volatility. But now we are ready for our speed round 1, and it starts here in WKC Brazil Circuit.
It's go time. A rivalry here already brewed between these two teams in the early days of the KDL. Seongnam ROX against Liiv SANDBOX. We're starting things off in Brazil. Byung-Soo currently holds the lead.
You can see that it's really heavily contested right now, the positions. Liiv SANDBOX already trying for the Soo duo in that 1-2 spot, but ROX is here to send Byung-Soo packing. Now Byung-Soo has to play catch-up, but there's 3 blockers in front of him.
Hyunsoo and Byung-Soo pushing through as best as they can. Acid Fly going to get some assist here from Boong, and will boost his way through. And this is a very tightly contested top of the pack here. A small advantage again to Liiv SANDBOX. See if they can hold on to it as we move towards the second lap here, as Jimin and Hyunsoo now outnumbering Boong here, almost forcing a collision.
Yeah, you can see Liiv SANDBOX near the end. They're making sure to keep that 7 and 8 positions for the ROX players. As now Jimin and Hyunsoo, they're leading quite far in that 1-2 position. A lot of pressure on Boong's shoulders right now.
Yeah, he's the only one who could really compete here, and Acid Fly and Looning are super far behind. You can see they're not out of it just yet, but they're going to have to break through. The onus is definitely on Boong here. Nice handling of that turn there. Slowed just a little bit to make sure they couldn't bop him right into that tire. But he still doesn't gain the distance he needs. But this is now getting really close. If he and Acid Fly can break through the top 2, the 1-2 definitely a win condition here for ROX.
The control from Liiv SANDBOX, however, is looking so strong. If they can keep Acid Fly locked down, even if Boong takes that first place away, Liiv SANDBOX, they have a point in advantage. They just need Neil to catch up.
Acid Fly gets in the second here, and if they can hold on to this, they've got a really great chance. No team boost here, unfortunately for ROX just yet. And Jimin takes that first place back away, 100 meters to go. And it looks like Liiv SANDBOX will take it here. Really close there in the end. And I gotta give Boong massive props again though. Basically 1v4, that entire end of first lap to first half of the second lap there. Never stuttered, never faltered. Handled that push where they went through the track next to the tires there extremely well. Like, he showed some great composure, but it was him against the world. Looning eventually showed up and they had one run of it, but they didn't have the nitro gauge to hold those positions. But that gives me hope that this isn't going to be one-sided here, that ROX actually can bounce back from deficits.
Boong certainly looking so sharp today. Even coming into the finish line, he went for a Hail Mary play. He turned around and tried to go for a sweeping on the players of Liiv SANDBOX. It didn't work out this time, but if Boong can keep this performance up, and if Looning can be at the top this time, who knows? It could be a ROX favorite game, and we're going to find out if that's going to happen right here on track number 2 of Speed in WKC Mexico Touring Rally. And we start our speed round 2. Liiv SANDBOX leading 1-0 as we see Neil taking the aggressive position this time around with Hyunsoo. They want to keep this 1-2 going for as long as possible.
Yeah, great start. Navi though, actually taking it now the inner, doubling it up. Gets in first here as we go over these jumps here. And this is what I'm talking about with this track. Neil is just going to break the terrain, man. He's going to do whatever he wants. He took that so tight that it even showed he was an 8th for a second because the computer got confused.
Yeah, but Neil, he hit the wall there, and that's going to set him back. He's going to recover, however, into the 4th positions, but now you can see so much room has opened up for the 1-2 from Seongnam ROX, and now it's Liiv SANDBOX playing catch-up.
Yeah, it is on their track selection, too. But Neil, the king of catch-up, man. You see, this guy could practically recover from getting lapped. It's a one-lap track, though, so we're not going to talk about that here. Well, let's see how tight he takes some of these turns here, because you have the opportunity as a front runner to actually really dictate the pace. And Acid Fly, he is Yeah, that's not what you want.
So much pressure being applied from Hyunsu and Neil right there, and now it's Looning trying to break this 1-2, but Neil, he does get past now. It's up to Looning to try to surpass Hyunsu as well.
Yeah, just trying to draft off of Hyunsu a little bit here. If he can actually get a team boost, he can pass him, and he does.
That's first place right now over to Looning. This is looking so close, but Liiv SANDBOX, they do have the 2-3-4-8, and they are gonna come ahead with another win here in Speed Round 2.
Yeah, 2-3-4 locked up for Liiv SANDBOX, even with Neil falling far behind there. Navi asked to fly, they couldn't actually break into the top of the midfield there, so Liiv SANDBOX will win it despite what was, again, great racing there by Seongnam ROX. Now match point here for Liiv SANDBOX. Looning takes first place, but like Boong before him, you know, you need more than that. You need your team to actually have that control. They did not. And it was great play there by Liiv SANDBOX to actually control Looning and to put him down for so long, while also controlling the midfield as well, right behind them.
You can really see the high level that both teams are displaying today. Just as you said, Wolf, it seems like Seongnam ROX, they're in contention. They're constantly there to apply pressure to Liiv SANDBOX, but it's just that Liiv SANDBOX has been slightly ahead. And in a match like this, that advantage might mean 3-0 for Liiv SANDBOX as we now go to round 3 in World Tour Terracotta Twister. This is match point already for Liiv SANDBOX. Not looking good for Seongnam ROX, but they've been playing well, so let's put some faith in them and see what happens here.
Yeah, they had a pretty good start as well on track 2 in Mexico, but as we move into Terracotta Twister, they'll be tested. Byung-soo tested, and he failed there on that corner a little bit, and he's going to drop back to 4th. So that's now a great opportunity here for Seongnam ROX because they have top 3, and then they have 5th controlled as well. They did.
They did, but Liiv SANDBOX is now catching up as now Neil, they're going to take 3 and 4 along with his buddy Hyunsu. But ROX is quite far ahead on this 1-2 currently.
Yeah, Boong and Looning, that's the duo that has been so successful thus far. See if Neil can actually break this, though, as he is in draft range right now, and he is getting closer and closer here, taking some really nice cornered turns here, corner to corner, and then taking the inners. A little bit of a bump there, but on this patch, that won't matter. And Hyunsu is getting blocked out by Acid Fly. He's been a great sweeper, even in PS2. See, Neil just holds it, man. He has no fear.
And he's going to win that trade against Looning. So Neil showing some really great lines right now, and another block coming out. Looning's going to be kept in 3rd place off the performance of Neil, just in the highlight right now.
Yeah, you would have think that Looning is actually the one who's outnumbered in this situation as Neil just takes him down, but they're just not able to coordinate the block. Now, Boong and Looning still in top 2 here. Ooh, that's going to be a really bad bump there. It's a really close race still. 1-3-5 is there for ROX. If Byung-soo passes, though, that's all going to change. They need Boong to hold 1st place.
But here comes Looning, looking to take that 1-2 for ROX. A phenomenal sweeping coming out now. Byung-soo trying to deny that 1-2 here, but he's going to fall out of that one. And now Seongnam ROX, they come in with the 1-2-3-5 finish.
Yeah. You can see there was a surrender there from Neil and Byung-soo as they realized their attempt there to just crash in and create that disarray was going to be a failure. So we will not see it. 2 back-to-back 3-0s here in Speed. We are going to have a series here. It's on our hands, as we like to say as casters. And ROX 1-2, they succeed. Liiv SANDBOX try their best to break that up at the last possible second there, but fail ultimately. And that was pretty much start to finish controlled by ROX. They had a great start. There were a few big mistakes in the first lap as well, and that's all you need. We are going to move to Miami Drive now as our 4th track. It is Liiv SANDBOX selection. We'll see what they've got prepared for us here because they can close this out despite what was a little bit of a hiccup.
Yeah, that was a little bit of hiccup, but they're still ahead as now we move into our round number 4 of Speed. It will be held in World Tour Miami Drive.
Liiv SANDBOX dropping the last track, but still on match point here as we move into Miami Drive. And we're off to the races here, hitting those boost pads. You always skip that one. so you can make sure you maximize this turn. Look at Looning. You know, we have him center stage. That's exactly how you want to take this turn. Copy it at home, friends, and drift into it as Navi kind of holding up the back here.
Yeah,
Not sure what happened.
Fell behind quite a bit there. Liiv SANDBOX is having just a better position right now as a team that it's going to be really hard for ROX to recover. I feel like 1-2 needs to be the strategy from Boong and Acid Fly.
Boong actually tried to block there to get some momentum, and it was successful. That was actually really cool to watch, but he's still just outnumbered here, and he can't cover all the bases. He needs someone like Acid Fly to actually come up here and start blocking for Jimin so that he can actually become that speed front runner. But I mean, Acid Fly, he's trying to take these aggressive lines. Now he's dropped back, and 1-2 widely available here for Liiv SANDBOX. I mean, Looning, yeah, he breaks into top 2, but the rest of his team is down at the back. They have no midfield control.
Liiv SANDBOX looking so sharp right now. Looney, he's gonna go out of his line off that boost there. Now there's no contention for this 1-2. Liiv SANDBOX, 4 members on the top right now.
I mean, a 1, 2, 3, 4 was definitely not on my bingo card for today. I did not expect this, but it looks like we are very likely to have it. Depends on how conservatively Hyunsu wants to play here. He might just sacrifice himself to guarantee the 1-2, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. But man, that was a really rough one.
Yeah, just not going the way of ROX right now. They're taking a lot of risks to try to catch up, but Liiv SANDBOX is so far ahead. They want to secure this 1-2, and it's going to be really easy.
They can't even pass Hyunsu here, okay? They will be able to do it at the last possible second, but it doesn't matter. 1-2, forget that. 1, 2, 3 here. Hyunsu drops back to 8th. He doesn't mind. Byungsu just guarantees they could cross the finish line first, and Liiv SANDBOX will take speed 3-1. Neil looks relieved after that hiccup on the previous track, but they're starting the series off right, and Seongnam ROX, it was their choice, speed priority, so things could get even tougher, especially with Liiv SANDBOX claiming they've solved item mode as we move into this this next best of 5. But that one jump really did them in, because Looning got collided with actually a track record for Jimin, which is not a shocker when you consider how much space they had. But that collision with Looning on the jump sent him to Timbuktu, man. He was in no man's land. He was in the water practically. He was swimming in the ocean after that, and that was the last chance they had. And from then on, it was a freebie. Unfortunately, Liiv SANDBOX just had too much of control from then on.
Liiv SANDBOX, they're bouncing back today with a pretty dominant win here in speed, and I feel like World Tour Miami Drive is a very snowbally track. Once a team gets a lead, it feels really hard to catch up because you're forced to take a lot of risk. So we saw Liiv SANDBOX capitalizing a win off that one, and now as we move into item mode, we see Lens being swapped in for Acid Fly on the side of Seongnam ROX.
Yeah, Dalda, of course, will be coming in on Liiv SANDBOX's side. I assume for Neil, but we will have to wait and see.
Certainly, because of communication, right? That's the key here in the item mode. And Neil, he's been doing great learning Korean, but it is tough to get on the level that you need to have for a mode like item.
Yeah. That's right, Neil, not a native Korean speaker, but his Korean is very good, actually. He's improved a lot. I've been able to communicate with him in Korean as well.
Yeah.
When I've spoken to him, he's really taken quite a liking to living here. And after being such an iconic player here and getting so many fans here, you imagine he wants to stay as long as he can. And he will be subbed out, as you mentioned, the communication. I think it's just always been his role that he is the speed expert as well. So does make sense to swap Dalda in for him. As we take a look at our track list, we actually are going to Dark Castle first. You know, some teams like this track, a lot of teams avoid it. Liiv SANDBOX is going to pull it out. London Knight and Seaplane Base have been chosen here for ROX, but otherwise it's just Dark Castle, Motherlode, and Misty Falls for Liiv SANDBOX. So their plan to use that aggressive tempo base, get a huge lead and hold on to it style, if that's what they're actually going to show us today. They've chosen the right tracks for it. London Knight, on the other hand, definitely one where it's almost impossible to pull it off. Seaplane Base, you certainly can, but it's not the best for it.
We can certainly see the strategy from Liiv SANDBOX that we've seen as of late in item mode really affecting the draft today. But now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our first match of item, and it's going to be held in Graveyard Dark Castle.
Liiv Sandbox took speed 3-1. And now Seongnam ROX looking to fight back in Idamo. We are on Dark Castle, a track that does have some aspects of environment to it where you can fall off on some of these jumps, for example, and there are some tight spaces like here where you'll see some of those ROX players get caught. But overall, it's kind of a constant team fight track. But if you can do what Jimin is doing, which Jimin is very famous for, and this is what Liiv Sandbox was talking about before the show, you get this early advantage, and then you have your teammates constantly target those behind you, and you protect. You grab as many shields as you can, and you just try to further build that lead and waste your opponent's items. It can be a solid strategy, and this is one of the best tracks for it.
Yeah, certainly so. Jimin, he picked up that shield a bit too late, so he's going to get targeted out, and now Navi's going to be able to capitalize off that, take the lead for himself. ROX are doing a great job targeting Jimin out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jimin just didn't get to that point where you actually just become too big to fail, and they caught up to him, which was really critical. Now Dalda does take the lead, and we'll have a shield for that water bomb. Picks up another one, has a banana here too. We'll probably try to use it on this upcoming tight spot. There, he did drop it. Now he's got double shield, and now it's going to be him who tries to, or rather he who tries to pull further ahead.
But a nice water bomb comes out from Lens there, is going to catch many players off guard. Now Boong has a lot of space for himself, except for the fact that there's Dalda right behind him. So it's going to be a tough battle for that first place.
Oh, that really hurts Lens, getting hit by that water bomb. He actually knew the exact angle of it, but didn't respect the duration, and kind of walked right into it. As actually, we're going to see an Angel popped here very early on in this third lap. Not entirely sure I agree with the choice here, but doesn't lead to much, and that's one less Angel they're going to have for the final push.
Ooh. Navi got caught out, but the water bombs are coming in so clutch right now. There's so much room for ROX.
And Lens is going to drop down this magnet as well. We'll help him guarantee. Goes to the portal first. 500 meters to go now. They do have this other Angel here. They're going to be able to get through the choke. Wisps out. That might be enough. Looning, he avoids it though, and they are going to take it. ROX will take the first track of item mode here. That was a very tense moment because Liiv Sandbox thought with double Wisp, they might be able to actually target both players and pass, but Looning was able to avoid it. And that is the first win on the board here in item, going to Seongnam ROX.
Those water bombs, man, near the end came out and changed the tempo so much. Anyone who was contesting for that top position was pretty much targeted out, and it was the patient Looning and Boong duo coming in on top. Looning being that actual first place racer, and he seemed pretty unstoppable near the end there.
Yeah. I think Liiv Sandbox put a lot in the Jimin basket in lap 1, trying to hope that he was going to get that additional edge. But he didn't. He didn't get the critical distance he needs to actually be able to avoid follow-up items, and they caught him. And unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of setup for them after that. Remember, Lens also had Magnet Rush too. They didn't even have to use that as their win condition, but they had that in their back pocket. We're moving to London night now, so I think we'll see a very different playstyle here for Liiv Sandbox as they try to tie things up.
And off we go into our 2-star difficulty track, London Night. This track is chosen by Seongnam ROX, so...
Early lightning.
Wow.
That's the fastest I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, that's certainly one of the faster lightnings there, and now Liiv Sandbox, they're going to have a huge tempo lead off that. The only problem is, London Night is not a tempo track, so you have to wonder about that lightning choice.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, you know, what Peter is referring to is that this track usually is based on the timing where you actually rush towards the end with a magnet, for example, or you try to set up a bunch of attacks and Angel push your way through. A lot of different ways to approach this, but it's definitely not like the previous track. It's not like Shark Wake, for example. Len's going to grab this magnet and use it early. It's a 3-lap track, so even though we're talking about some of those components like the magnet are very useful, the lightning we saw in...
Yeah, Jimin is kind of forced to hold on to his Angels right now, so there's not a lot of items being swapped from him, so he's going to fall behind as a result of that. And now Seongnam ROX in a pretty firm position here. They're holding on to 2 lightnings, and now Liiv Sandbox, they do pick up some magnets. 2 magnets in the pocket, each for Dalda and Jimin. That is some good response here in London Night.
Lens here, gonna eat some of this aggro. Does have an EMP and a shield still, but it's a very close race here at the front. Those lightnings, again, this is gonna be the big problem. 3 of them on the field, 2 for ROX, and they're gonna get hit first. They're gonna have to return fire, and here it comes. 1 Angel out If they use the other one here, it can be staggered. As you can see, Lens takes the lead. And he's got a shield, 500 meters.
Lens, he popped all his shields. However, now Byung-soo looking for the catch-up angle. Hyunsu and Dalda coming out from the sidelines. And it's going to be Dalda securing item round 2.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how. They must have had Nitro, or they took that better pathway there. Maybe somebody had a magnet, but we weren't really focused on them. We were focused on the front runners there for ROX, especially Lens. And then out of nowhere, they took that different path, which is what happens with these timings on London Night, and they pass through. So undeterred, uncontested, because they came from a different angle than where ROX's front runners were. Dalda and Byung-soo actually will take the first 2 spots here. Yeah, I'd love to see a replay of that from their perspective as to what they used there, because everything happened so fast, it was hard to see, but I think ROX thought maybe they had that one in the bag, and then boom! Out come those players. Dalda pushing through there with Byung-soo.
Liiv SANDBOX certainly felt like they've had a better read on their opponents near the end of that London Night portion. They saved their items for the right moments, which is why you saw 3 of the players just suddenly come out of nowhere and pretty much come into the finish line at the same time. So beautifully played by Liiv SANDBOX there, and the next track is chosen by them, so that could be some momentum going over that way.
Yep, it is going to be Mine Motherload. We're going to see which one of these teams will take the lead here now and push to match point. Here we go, 1-1. Seongnam ROX versus Liiv SANDBOX here. Liiv SANDBOX did take speed, but an ace match may be in our future if Seongnam can take this item.
That's the excitement we are looking for here in our KDL, and you can see the sirens telling us that indeed this is a 3-star difficulty track, and Mine Motherload is a really crazy track to pop a siren on because there's not a lot of room to dodge a player popping a siren.
Speaking of not a lot of room, that banana can also be quite devastating, the big banana. But
yeah,
unfortunately not placed very well there on the side, so pretty easy to avoid. Will affect, you know, you're trying to get around that corner if you're not reacting quickly. Another siren out here, but at the back of the pack, not too useful for Hyunsu. And Lens is starting to pick up a pretty substantial lead here. He does have 2 shields. And you can see Jimin, the only one really contesting him heavily. Yikes.
Boom finds a nice angle with that water bomb there. Navi's gonna hit the wall, so now it's up to Lens to keep up the lead, but the UFO is going to slow him down. A lot of attacks being traded aggressively, but Hyunsu does have that lightning, and he's holding on to it for tempo.
Jimin gonna get hit by the UFO. And here comes Boong just using this magnet for tempo and to hold this high ground that was really well placed. But the barrier blocks him and makes him drop down. He's still got the majority of the value out of that. He's holding on to first place right now. He's got a Nitro. If he can get a second magnet here, he's got a really good chance to finish this one in first, but it's tough to pick that one up in first yourself.
Boong and Lens really leading the track right now. Jimin following closely behind. We see an angel each per team, a lot of defensive items, and now we see the water wisps and the missiles coming out as well.
If Jimin can hold on to that, there's a lot of potential there, but he just wants to get an additional shield and further his tempo advantage right now. I mean, he's basically 1v3 up here in the front. Now 1v2. See if he can hold on to this. A UFO could really put a damper on this.
And Lens actually does manage to catch up. Now he's in front of Jimin. Liiv SANDBOX having to play a bit of catch up. Still holding on to those angels, so we do have nice defensive options near the end.
All right, Lens does have that magnet. He's going to pop it here, last few meters. See if he can hold on to this. He's got 2 shields after. Blocks 1, blocks 2, but Jimin's got the angel, and Liiv SANDBOX will pass in the final moments there. That was a tense finish. And Jimin will cross it first. Just having a little bit more momentum there going up to that final moment, but that was really anyone's race to take.
It was very, very close, but Jimin was able to come out on top. And now Liiv SANDBOX, they have 2-round wins here in item. If they win 1 more, then Seongnam ROX are going to be out for the day. No ace match to be had. So Liiv SANDBOX, they really want to secure the next round.
Really, really important. And for Liiv SANDBOX, this would put them, if they do win this, into 3-2. Yep. And it would, of course, force the Seongnam ROX into 3-2 as well. And we'd have to see exactly what the rounds look like. But you're basically competing with your biggest opposition right now. to break into top 3. If you're Liiv Sandbox, of course, the opposite is true of Seongnam ROX, but they could really further that gap. Moving to World Tour, San Francisco seaplane base now, though, to see if Liiv Sandbox can close this one out, or if we're going to 5.
Match point here for the Liiv Sandbox, looking to close things out here in the San Francisco Seaplane base. It is a 3-star difficulty track, so it is going to be pretty hectic.
It certainly is. I mean, not only is it 3-star, but it also has, you know, a lot of players don't have a ton of experience on this track because it's very rarely played. It's banned a lot. I'd say, honestly, the last few weeks it's got a little bit more popular alongside Miami, but still a little bit rarer. Double siren for Jimin, but if you have it at the back, it's not too useful. You wish you were at the front of the pack to actually use it to block people. Won't have that opportunity for a while.
So we see Jimin picking up a nice UFO there. That's gonna lock down Boong, so it's giving a lot more space over to Byungsu now. He is holding on to that magnet closely. A lot of shields on the side of ROX.
Yeah. Dalda gets hit. Let's see. Ooh. That was a close call there. Does barely have enough speed to get over that jump. Boong with a shield, but no EMP. Second shield comes out, so he should be able to hold on to first for a little bit longer as long as he drives well. But nope, there's the UFO. So that's unfortunate. Hyunsu will pull him back.
We can see Liiv Sandbox trying to break apart, and they're doing it pretty successfully. They have 3 players up in top 4. Navi, without an item, he finally picks up a Water Wisp, but he's quickly locked out.
He is, and now, you know, we're looking at Byungsu with a shield here. He's going to pop it, go on this jump. He does have a magnet. He's actually going to use it early here to pull Navi back so he can be in attack range of his teammates. But right now, ROX just have the better setup, the better numbers here. This EMP could change things. Byungsu has a rocket, holds it here. Now, there's still a whole extra lap to play. But in terms of combos right now and like angels, lightnings, everybody's coming up empty. I mean, it's anyone's race to take it. It's really just about who's in first, and if they can hold it, Navi with 2 shields will be able to at least absorb both of these water bombs.
Yeah, Navi, he manages to land that jump successfully, now still successfully in the lead. Water bomb is gonna go amiss. Now, Navi and Lens with the shields trying to absorb whatever aggro they can.
Yeah, Navi absorbs that Wisp. Grabs one of his own. As Lid's 2 shields too. That was a great alarm usage here from Dalda. 2 shields now for him. That was great. Pulls ahead, grabs 2 off the item boxes and a magnet for Hyunsu. The Sandbox definitely with a much more stacked deck in terms of the items right now going to this final lap.
Exactly. It's going to be incredibly hard to slow Dalda down unless you have the magnet, so a great usage there from Boong. And now he needs to somehow lock out Dalda, but Dalda has many shields.
Yeah, okay. Dalda gets hit by this Wisp. That's huge. Also gets caught by the rocket here. And now ROX have really turned the tide. That magnet is ready for Hyunsu here, but he doesn't have a nitro. Let's see how he uses it. Boong going to be the target likely. Gets hit by those UFOs. Hyunsu running out of time here to find that angle. 500 meters.
You can see Seongnam ROX looking so good with Navi in position, looking for that first place. A Water Wisp gets shielded out beautifully, and Seongnam ROX take round 4 of item. Now we are tied 2-2. We are going to have that round 5.
Yeah, you could see how happy Navi is. You know, he's not a big celebrator, but he's got a grin on his face as it pans over to him. The shield he picked up there, you know, that's those moments where you get that final item box, and you're like, what does he have? I picked up Wisp. I have to toss it right now. He's like, I've got shield. He blocks it. And, you know, if you're a professional gamer, you know, blocking Wisp, you know, sometimes you can mess it up on your own games, you know, when you're a little bit newer. But, like, for a pro, it's as easy as just pressing the item button, whatever they have it hotkeyed to, and blocking that Wisp and crossing the finish line. He's like, oh, I've hit the counter. I have the answer. I'm in first. It's my win. We're going to 5. We're going to Forest Misty Falls. The final track here of items. Still match point for Liiv Sandbox in this series, but maybe ROX can bring us to that final. Maybe we'll get to see something awesome like Looning versus Neil in an ace match. Anything is on the table here if ROX can make it happen. We're going to find out if they can right now. 2-2, but Liiv Sandbox have the speed win. A win here ends the series. A loss brings us to an ace match.
We'll see what happens as we see Liiv Sandbox looking very controlled on the top field here. They have so many players up top. They've got defensive items, offensive items, everything that they want. And now Lens is going to get quickly targeted out because he doesn't have a shield.
Dalda gonna swap over here to the shield, block that rocket. Now it's a shield versus a bomb. Bomb just tossed out to hope for the double item. He gets caught by that UFO and burns both shields. Looning will pick up a banana, see if he can get anything with that. I always love to see if bananas get value. The answer is usually not.
We've seen a value today where it hit a teammate, so
Yeah.
the value's pretty negative on that one. So we're loving to see some good usage of that banana as we see the water bombs being exchanged pretty aggressively now.
It did hit Dalda according to the feed there, the item feed to the bottom left, so it looks like he got something out of it. But Dalda, speaking of which, pushing into first place himself, so maybe the banana not impacting him too much. Tosses a nitro out to push forward so he can pick up this shield, and he's going to hope to avoid one attack with it. Great bomb.
Yeah, great bomb, but Boong actually hit his own teammate there. So the water bomb team kills are happening now too. A lot of team kills. Item mode can be very hectic as Dalda, he's looking to race off Navi, trying to get within range, but Dalda so far.
Yeah, see if he can pick up double shield here. He's going to cut across. Gets only the one, not able to get both. Gets hit by the UFO as well. Now Wisp hits and his advantage is deleted.
Ooh,
That barricade did a number on Seongnam ROX. That is not what you want to see if you're a ROX fan.
that was such a sick usage of that barricade. Now Looning is desperately trying to catch up to Hyunsu. He's going to place a sneaky banana there, and he gets Looning.
Yep, sometimes the banana value is real. Angel comes out here, but now Hyunsu has such a lead. He's got a shield here, 400 meters to go, less than. Blocks that, picks up an EMP. Can they hit him with the Wisp? He's got an Angel. He spins out, but Jimin's got his back. And Liiv Sandbox will close out the series. No ace match tonight. And they're going to move to 3-2. They won't get that many big set differentials because it was a fairly close series. But at the end of the day, they take it. And they're putting up the L's, reminding the other team what they've done to them.
Liiv Sandbox coming out today with such a crucial win. They have 2 losses in their score right now, but those were against professional teams, and this was the last professional team matchup that Liiv Sandbox had, and to win it, it certainly changes the tempo for them now, put some confidence back in their shoulders, and now we can definitely say Liiv Sandbox is back in contention, baby.
Oh, definitely. They looked really good today in item especially, which is, you know, sometimes been a shaky point for them. They changed item aces after preseason 1, pulling Dalda in, putting Jimin into more of a speed mode position. And I mean, Jimin, his background as an item ace definitely helps him in item mode, but it didn't feel like they had the cohesion a lot of the time, but they looked very good today. So that will do it for this series. And you know, for ROX, your lead that you had over Liiv Sandbox fades away now, as you will drop down yourself to 3-2. So both these teams will be on 3-2. Where they are hoping that MIRAEN and SEJONG will also be if KWANGDONG beats them, so that they can potentially end up getting that 2nd seed going into postseason, because that is very important. So all of these teams are cheering for KWANGDONG right now, because I know they're probably not going to catch KWANGDONG, and they do not want to have 2 teams of 4 wins as we are rounding out this season. Only a few matches left, as you mentioned earlier. So another week of regular season before we start heading into those wildcard matches and the postseason.
The stakes are just getting higher and higher as the season goes on. We just had 2 professional teams play against each other, and Liiv Sandbox, they got a crucial win. But just as you put it, Wolf, our next professional team matchup, it's 2 of the best teams potentially in the league right now. At least that's what the fans think. KWANGDONG FREECS and MIRAEN and SEJONG. And honestly, I can't put my finger on who's going to win, because it just feels like they're so evenly matched. And as you said, a win for MIRAEN and SEJONG would be pretty devastating for our 3-2 teams right now. So KWANGDONG FREECS, they got to win it for the rest of the teams.
I'm sold on MIRAEN and SEJONG right now. I think they might be the team to take it all. We will have to see if they can prove it tonight, because they're going to play against the strongest team. This might be a precursor of the finals, if my theory is correct, if my confidence is well placed. But when we were casting them just a few days ago, I was saying this is a dark horse team. You can really feel the skill is there, but I don't know if they have the consistency yet to really challenge the title. Watch that game. Did some VOD review before today. I'm like, no, actually, I think this team could do it. But Kwangdong Freaks, undisputed best team right now. And that's what MSJ is looking to dispute. They're undisputed. Actually, I have a dispute with that. I'm going to play 2 best-of-5s against them today and see if we can take them out.
Yeah, just as you put it, MIRAEN SEJONG, they had a hiccup losing 1 match, and it was against Always, which is not what we expected. But just as you said, Wolf, it's just a hiccup that hasn't stopped them ever since. And Kwangdong Freaks, despite having no loss, their matches were shaky. It was a tough road. So, like you put it, MIRAEN SEJONG might have a bit of an edge, and I just can't wait to get into it. Today is such a great day for team matches.
It really is. I think our second series did fall a little bit flat. We didn't quite go to the ace match. Speed was a little bit one-sided, but I am hoping this one is going to deliver. Hero's been looking so good right now, and obviously we have seen the Emperor return, but we are going to take a short break before we go to that matchup, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in a bit.
차거든요 지금. 안 차면 길에 와요. 호준 거리가. 지역이 또 창피하고 있기 때문에 라이벌 의식이 좀 있지 않을까라는 생각도 해봅니다. 호준이 여기서 멱살 잡나요?
나비 뒤에 붙었습니다. 나비 뒷다리를 보고 있습니다.
죽었어.
얘들아 이겼어.
나이스.
평소의 포지션과 정반대로 운영을 하고 있기 때문에요. 이거 루닝을 다운시킨 건 정말 크네요.
나이스. 영훈이 형 대박이시는데요?
마지막까지 화이팅.
네, 화이팅.
화이팅.
나비가 어떻게 한번 시비를 걸 수 있나요? 일단은 2위를 때리고 있는 락스입니다.
순위 뒤집기가 쉽진 않은 상황에서 우선 앞쪽에서 뛰어나와 호준.
봐봐요 뒤에 있어. 천천히 해봐.
자 내줄게 한번. 채울게요.
채워줘. 나이스. 형 이리 때려도 돼. 내가 먼저 가봐.
저 꼬아놨어 살짝.
주영 이제 가볼래?
기가 막히게 한번 막아줬기 때문에 지금까지 버티고 있는 거죠. 호준 선수의 디테일도 좋았던 게 뒤를 다 막아주고 히어로를 푸시해주면서 앞쪽에 1대를 계속 만들었어요.
나 붙었다. 7발이야. 계속. 오케이. 안 뚫리고 있어. 뚫리면 말해줘. 그냥 밀지 말고.
뒷보 가줄게 1번.
하위공성에서 뒤에 나비 밀어 나비.
가. 쭉 가. 야 와라. 얘들 마지막 사고 조심.
나비 팀플레이 판단 진짜 기가 막혀요.
이러면 완벽합니다. 락스가 1, 2, 3, 4.
야 승현아 1등 찍고 좋았다. 아니 7발 계속 묶었다 진짜. 나이스. 나는 멘탈 괜찮아. 영훈이랑 용준이 잡아줘.
서로 괜찮아요? 영훈이 형 괜찮?
뭐 괜찮아. 아니 얘 거의 지금 반절 마트에 가 있어. 최혁은.
괜찮아.
뭐? 괜찮다고.
괜찮아.
나비가 천사 2개.
자 이거 과연 렉스 잡힐 것인지.
1등 뭐 1등
뒤에 거리 돼. 뒤에 상찬.
하나 맞을 거야. 안 맞는다. 나 핑 났어. 이거 거리 조절 제대로 했는데.
보소.
위력 싸움이 있거든요.
보소 들어갑니다.
어떻게 해야 돼? 천천히 해. 열심히 하면 되지. 지금부터 우리 맵이다.
보여줍시다. 오케이.
진짜로 베네치아 겉톱 채굴장. 그래 천천히 우리 템 챙기고 하자. 급한 거 없잖아 우리.
가져와 호준이 오래 잘 버텼기 때문에 뒤쪽에 있는 히어로와 로기 아이템 챙겨서 올라올 수 있는 시간을 충분히 벌었죠.
빨렸어.
먼저
할게.
얘네 급하다.
아이템 상황 굉장히 중요한데 맨 마지막에 우선이 한번 들어오겠지만 그건 해지로 상태가 될 거고요.
실드.
불 받고 1급 내렸어. 봐봐. 1분 줬어.
1m 따줄게.
뒤에 거리 돼. 뒤에 다 왔어. 상대 다 왔어 이제. 나 발이 맞았다. 반겼어. 했어. 반개 다 맞아. 가야 돼.
이겼어.
막판 게 나왔다.
다행이다.
진짜로.
오늘 뭐 양팀에게 사실 언제나 중요한 매치긴 하겠지만 굉장히 중요하거든요.
4빈공이라는데?
너가 나가 그럼.
내가 할까?
너가 해. 자신 없어?
아니 어택은 해놔서 그냥 게임 생각 좀. 이겨줄게.
이거 진짜 제대로.
너안 땡겨 형이 할게.
진짜 괜찮아요?
안 땡겨 내가. 아니 내가 자신 있으면 하고 자신 없으면 내가.
형이 해주세요.
양 선수가 프레시드 월드에서 한번 맞붙었었고 그 당시에 루닝이 승리했거든요. 이런 데서도 그렇죠. 일부러 무리할 필요 없다는 걸 호준이 알기 때문에 부스터 타이밍 완급 조절해줬어요. 딜에 빠지면서 충분히 루닝의 주행이라면 자 조금씩 여기서 부담되는 건 호준입니다.
호준 어떻게 하나요? 일단은 걸렸고 2탐 정말
중간에 스탑!
여기 살짝을 쳤으면
루닝도 나쁘지 않아요. 이 정도는 괜찮아요. 딜이 안 차거든요 지금. 안 차면 딜에 와요. 호준 거리가 호준 타이밍.
호준.
가장 경험많은 호준이 최강의 폼을 자라는 루닝을 잡아냈어요.
이제 두 번째 세트에 돌입을 합니다.
자 스피드는 있고 아이템 따고 여기로 갑시다.
스나이커의 입장에서는 속도는 아이템, 공격하는 아이템을 이용해서 계속 교란을 해야 되는데 돕기는 좀 어려워요.
1판 하나 더.
나 불렸어.
방금 1등 빨아서 들었어.
가도 돼. 앞에 찍어줄게.
3등 팔해줬어.
하나 죽였어.
파리와
3파 돌았다.
1파 주고.
천사 확보가 우선 데스페라도 있다 해서 근데 하필 바나나에게 두 개라는 게 약간 부담될 것 같거든요.
1, 2, 4, 4 킬게.
자, 파리와.
다 돌렸어. 그냥 가봐.
오케이.
상대 둘 돌렸어. 지는 게 살아.
혜진이 먼저 해. 먼저 할게. 맞지 마 1등.
한번 미리 찔러도 돼. 둘
나이스.
돌렸어.
불파리와 이거 미사일이 있기 때문에 떠요. 대왕 바나나의 존재감도 너무나 컸어요.
모두에서는 아무런 영향을 미치지 못합니다. 프라미스 올라오자 경기는 애결로 갑니다.
많이
이게
받았다.
형이야. 이게 형이야.
팀내 에이스들이 과연 어떤 결정을 할지 아직 의논 중인 것 같습니다.
스트라이커 나왔네요.
내리막 구간에서 충분히 승부수 볼 수 있다는 건 아마 두 선수 다 알고 있을 거예요.
이렇게 발표네요. 어이. 이거 스트라이커 맞고 스트라이커 안쪽 파고듭니다. 스트라이커. 이러면 스트라이커입니다. 오늘은 스트라이커 데이네요.
최근에 스트라이커의 폼이 심상치 않다는 말씀을 계속 드렸었는데 오늘 세레머니 마음껏 해도 될 것 같아요.
탈취술에서 남은 경기들에서 승리를 원해야겠습니다.
1승 1패 어쨌든 맞물리고 있는 상황이라 2승 필요하거든요 오늘 경기.
용준아.
에?
할만하지?
아이 그럼요.
영훈이가.
난 뒤에 이길 수 있어. 이길 수 있어.
이를 올라오고 있는 가운데 키오가 또 1을 먹었습니다.
인정.
딱 나한테 했다. 빨았어 이제.
나 왼쪽 빨았어.
가봐. 뚫렸다 한 번.
오른쪽 막아.
벗어났어.
다원이 하나야. 다원이 하나.
앞에. 가봐요 이제.
나 살짝 짧은.
가봐 다원. 이게 나야. 해놨어 2번.
나이스. 앞에 2대1 해봐.
막는 중.
가봐 용서.
나이스. 꼴찌 나 잡겠다.
10% 간다.
오케이. 앞에 3대 3이요. 살렸어 차. 한번 막을 수 있나? 나 오른쪽.
아 꼴찌랑 1대1이긴 해.
막았어.
나이스.
근데 2번 막아놨어.
1단 웃으면 돼요?
막았어 2번 막았어.
오케이.
하나만 돌렸어. 나이스.
1사유치
1등만.
나 7등 고정이야 얘들아.
1등.
나이스. 다 지렸다. 진짜 왜 이렇게 잘하 누?
나 3대 1 했어.
우리 빼고. 우리도 빼고. 잘 나왔어. 아니 내가 아까 말했잖아. 샌박 디스 킬러. 맞아. 샌박 킬러 김다워.
지금까지 미래선이 뭔가 각성한 플레이가 나오단 말이죠.
그렇습니다. 타이밍도 좋고 팀 단위의 공격도 굉장히 좋고요.
탱크 잡아놓게.
오케이. 계속 끌면서.
아, 맞싸 했어. 쌀.
나 파리.
아,
나
내가
우리
실드
안
나왔어요.
가드가 여러 명의 선수들을 돌리기 위해서 사이렌을 꽤 오래 참는 모습이 있었는데
좋아요.
한 명 잡았어.
오케이. 물 잡은 애.
천천히 해봐 얘들아. 영훈이 앞에 잡아놨어.
사이렌
나될 수 있어요. 근데 녹이 돌렸어요. 녹이. 이거 쟤 어떻게요?
나 파리야.
아, 나 형 팔았다. 나 팔이 안 됐거든?
파리 다 들었어.
아이템전을 깔끔하게 승리했다는 점이 가장 큰 기쁨이 될 것 같습니다.
Come direct if you come to my check. If my name in your mouth, better add the respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is the throne. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone. Throw it off of my brain and I'm bad to the bone.
time for our final team match today here at KDL 2023. My name is Wolf. I'm still joined by Peter. And today is the biggest matchup of the day. Can MIRAEN SEJONG top Kwangdong Freaks with a 2-0? They could take first place in the standings. Any other score and Kwangdong keeps that top spot.
And MIRAEN SEJONG is certainly going to be the right opponent for Kwangdong Freaks to face, as they are challenged for that 5th win if they can get it here. And this roster is just so great. It was such a successful building around Hojin, and there's a lot of old history between the members of MIRAEN SEJONG and Kwangdong Freaks. They were formerly teammates back in Kartrider League, now brawling it out here in KDL.
Yeah, it's a really good point. That history does exist between these players. Kwangdong Freaks currently 4-0, the strongest team in KDL preseasons, the best Kartrider Drift team in our first season here in 2023. Walking out on stage, a win tonight would put them at 5-0. I mean, they only have one match left to actually have the perfect undefeated season. So this is arguably the toughest opponent they've faced yet. Already taken out SANDBOX, already taken out ROX. This team is on the edge of that perfect season heading in as the first seed. But this is the last really big roadblock that stands in their way.
It's certainly a huge roadblock, as now we are going to get ready to take a look at the side of MIRAEN and SEJONG, see what they have brought us with their little card saying, the dance of victory, let's go.
I'm not even going to get into this meme again, but it's funny, it's happening. If you know, you know. Nox astonishing first place performance. MIRAEN SEJONG achieves the first perfect victory in the main stage. This was, of course, against Desperado. We talked about it just a few days ago. And you can see they're hyped up. Will we be able to go home early today? Last time it said, let's go home early today, and they did. We'll see what they've kind of asked the question a little bit more this time, as they are respecting Kwangdong Freaks as a very tough opponent here.
It's not likely, for sure, if your opponent is Kwangdong Freaks, that you're banking on going home early. That's not what Kwangdong Freaks is here to do. Just looking at their picture together has an aura to them. They are the kings of KDL right now. They just need to prove it here in the regular season. And once again, they are the only undefeated team here in the Kartrider League. And if they win this one, they may just go undefeated the whole entire time.
Yeah. They are 2 wins away from doing just that, and 5 wins would be what they pick up today, as we discussed earlier. We really and desperately want to win today, no doubt. Keep that first place. Make sure you have that top seed. Very, very important. You'll face the weakest team, the wild card team, in top 4. Whoever ends up winning that wild card match, you'll face them if you have that first seed. So arguably the weakest opponent to get that push into the winners finals. Here are our tracks. So we are going again to Handy Harbor. MIRAEN SEJONG chose this against Desperado and absolutely destroyed them on it. They've also brought Factory Facility 5. So MIRAEN SEJONG is really preparing these wild and unique tracks. I mean, not to say that we never see Handy Harbor. It is getting a little bit more popular. Facility 5, very rare. Sometimes you see it in round 5 and some of the preseasons. But these are not common tracks. Whereas Kwangdong Freaks are sticking to, you know, Brazil Circuit, which is very common these days. It feels like it's the new Terracotta Twister itself. And then that final track, which will be Shanghai Circuit. That's the rarest one they chose. But man, curveballs again here from MIRAEN SEJONG. But we're starting things off on World Tour Brazil Circuit.
This is our first round of speed in the most hyped match of the day, as we see MIRAEN SEJONG off to a phenomenal start. Kwangdong Freaks locked into 7 and 8.
Yeah, of course, when I said World Tour, I meant WKC. Everything. Really insane start here for MSJ. Spear going to try to find that angle, but you see how he has to take that conservatively, because one mistake there is going to cost you the tire. We saw the same thing with Boong earlier on this very track. World, let's see if he can also find an angle here, as Nox blocking has been fantastic all year long. 1-2 win condition still available. Cool also very far back here, as you can see.
You can see Hojin getting a lot of good blocks on Cool right now. So MSJ, they have so much room up at the top. The midfield is completely controlled by Nock and Hojin. Spear's trying his best, but Hero's hanging on.
World really needs to hold on to his position. If he falls back, it feels like hopeless. Even if Spear can take first place, there's just no way. You don't actually have the numbers that you need. And the midfield control is so good, but Cool and Seongnam is so far behind. That's why we have that picture-in-picture. You can see Hojin's insane blocking here. And they are catching up, but there's only one lap left to play here. Spear will find this angle, but see, once again, you lose a lot of momentum on the grass here, so it's hard to hold on to it. Guard is just going to continue to collide with him to allow Hojin to pass through. Hojin no longer content with being the blocker at the back. He wants to actually contest here. 3v1 against Spear.
Hero has so much room right now. He's been constantly ahead of Spear. Now World does show up, applying a lot of pressure over to MSJ. They cannot give the 1-2 over to KWANGDONG FREECS because they are so ahead as long as they don't give that win condition.
Yeah, a Hero here holds first. KWANGDONG FREECS have the advantage right now, though. Cool and Spear making that final push. Great block there from Hero.
Whoa, Cool as well. Nock trying to come in, but World takes first place. Not enough, however. MSJ with the 2-3-4 comeback.
Yeah, it looks like Hero passed Spear at the last possible second there. They will win it by 1 point, and this is the close race as we expected to see coming into tonight's final matchup. And it's already delivered here on Brazil. And whew, that was a close one. Down to the wire. World gets first, but Spear drops down, and it's a 2-3-4. Ends up being the win condition, even with Guard being so far behind. Hojin really pulling his weight throughout the entire race to control midfield, and then have that final push here, winning that midfield advantage in 2-3-4. And now we are headed to Handy Harbor, and Handy Harbor, so I made this joke a few days ago, but it's hairpin harbor. It is all hairpin turns all the time. There are some shortcuts. There are 2 shortcuts you can take to cut through the hairpin and take an even narrower hairpin. But the volatility is high. You make a mistake, you're going to drop back to 8th place because you are going to lose so much speed and you have to go straight into another hairpin. So if you're bold enough to take those shortcuts, you could save a lot of time. And most players will attempt it because if you don't, you're taking the longer path. You're going to lose so much speed. But you're often going to collide with other players. It's going to get messy here. We're going to see if MSJ can pull ahead 2-0 or KWANGDONG FREECS on their track pick will tie us up 1-1. Handy Harbor here, the track pick of KWANGDONG, or rather of MIRAEN SEJONG, and KWANGDONG FREECS gonna have to win on that track to tie things up. Spear with a good start here. Those are those shortcuts, those little cuts you can go through. Very narrow.
You can see a lot of aggressive turns right now. Spear having the lead right now certainly helps out KWANGDONG FREECS. You can see Hero is making sure to keep that pressure applied. Keep in mind, Hojin and Guard are pretty far back. We would need to see exactly how far, but they can't be that far behind.
Yeah. If they are that far behind, they're going to have a big problem. And as you can see, there's the picture-in-picture. Hojin's competing with midfield right now. KWANGDONG FREECS in a really nice position here as we move into the second lap. As Hero's the one who's outnumbered. This very often happens, of course. And he just cannot break through it. That's what I'm talking about. You miss that shortcut, goodbye, you're 8th place. This map just doesn't give you any room to make those types of errors.
And look at that, KWANGDONG FREECS pulling ahead the Spear and Seongbin duo, allowing no room for mistake as Hojin and Guard desperately try to catch up, but they're gonna have only a few opportunities. It's on these turns where they need to catch up to the opponent and try to sweep them, because right now, MSJ is relying on KWANGDONG FREECS to make a mistake.
That is certainly true. Hojin has taken that line so perfectly, though. Trying to get into draft range, he's made it there. 400 meters to go, and unfortunately, there's just no chance here, even in draft range, which is on the edge of. It's gonna be a 1-2 finish here. And before anybody blames Hero, he's playing 1v2 in that moment. He's trying to take the tightest line possible. It is the toughest turn in the current pro track pool, in my opinion. I think it is the toughest turn. It puts Glacier to shame. It is so hard. And beyond that, his team was already behind. He was trying to make that heroic play because his team was super far behind. So I don't want him to get any hate for that. Seongbin, with no pressure on him after Hero's mistake there, though, will take the track record here of Handy Harbor. So that one might stick around for a while. But that's a tough track, and we saw exactly why. Now we're tied up 1-1.
You mentioned previously, Wolf, that MIRAEN and SEJONG, they were able to stomp Desperado on the track village Handy Harbor, which is why they picked it up. Against a team like Kwangdong Freaks, they certainly had the confidence there, but the execution, as you said, Kwangdong Freaks just pulled it off better. It was completely unstoppable because Kwangdong Freaks made almost no mistakes.
Yeah, it was really clean racing, and the starts matter so much. We're going to that classic, though. World Tour Terracotta Twister here. The winner of this track will pull ahead to match point here for speed. We're tied up 1-1.
Speed round 3 begins here in Terracotta Twister. We've seen this track all the way back since preseason 1. It is an absolute classic, and there's so much room to catch up once you actually enter the tomb section. So this beginning, we see players sometimes opt for building that team booster gauge more.
Yeah, that is definitely true. That's a really good point that you mentioned, Peter, because we have seen that trend change on this patch where the team boost is actually sometimes how you finish here because the teams are so familiar with this track that in order to get an edge, it's really difficult without it. The Spear actually will recover really nicely from that collision there, pulls back, and actually is going to force his way to the top. Knock passes him, though, as we see those diagonal Seongbin playing with fire.
Great blocking coming out from Kwangdong Freaks. Seongbin and Spear pull their weight, but now Knock, he does manage to surpass. Keep in mind, if you look at the minimap, MSJ is in absolute disarray.
Yeah, I mean, Hojun actually had an additional collision after we pulled up that picture. You could see it, and he is really far behind. This one looks pretty over, to be totally frank, unless we see a huge error here. I mean, Hero is trying to get close here to top 4, and now they have to get 1-2. That is the only way they win this race. I just don't see it happening with Cool here to block.
Yeah, that's the goal for Knock and Hero here, but the task looks really difficult to pull off. Spear and Seongbin looking to build a distance where Knock won't be able to get in for the draft, and certainly Kwangdong Freaks doing that well.
Yeah, I mean, they have to pass Seongbin, both of them. And I mean, Hero's getting closer, but there's not a whole lot of track left to play here. Hero blocked again by Spear, because all he has to do is make sure these two racers don't get 1-2, and it's over. And that's exactly what he's going to try to do. Hero will pass Spear, but so what? He can't pass Seongbin, and that's going to be it. Kwangdong Freaks will win this one and go to match point here on speed. And they are one win away not only of winning speed, but also saving that first place slot for another week. They might still win the series, or might still lose the series rather, but they won't be able to be eliminated eliminated from first unless MIRAEN SEJONG wins 2-0.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. Kwangdong Freaks looking so good right now here in speed. It feels like after that little shakeup in round 1, they're just back in form, concentrated, because it feels like MSJ, they're making more mistakes than Kwangdong Freaks, and it's really hard to catch back up once you make that mistake because a team like Kwangdong Freaks is not going to make a mistake very often.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep our eyes on Hojun and Guard because 2 back-to-back tracks, they find themselves in 7th and 8th, and you know, you can have that happen, obviously, after losing midfield. You lose midfield control, you drop back there, but you continue to threaten, you continue to be relevant. But 2 tracks in a row, it felt like it was a 2v4 game, unfortunately, for MIRAEN SEJONG. We're going to have to bounce back. We're going to Facility 5 now, which could be our last race of speed. All eyes on Hojun as the camera is given to him off the starting block here, and we will see if he can recover because he and Guard have taken some risky inners and actually gotten really punished for it. This time it's looking pretty good in this first lap, though. It's a single lap track, so shouldn't have said it that way, but you know what I mean, at the start of this race.
Yeah. Hojun is going to fall out of line. He's going to fall back quite a bit. Hero leading the pack here against 4 members of Kwangdong Freaks. So a lot on the line for Knock to catch up, but there's so many members of Kwangdong Freaks lined up. Yeah, he took a bit of an awkward bounce off that pillar there and dropped back a little bit. He's recovering pretty nicely. Team Nitro going to come out here. But Hero maintains first. They need someone else to break through, though, the top 3, or this just doesn't look
viable. Midfield control, though, definitely MIRAEN, SEJONG. So let's see how well they can push together, use some of those drafts, as we're really nearing the halfway point now of this track.
Hero is doing a great job keeping the dream alive. Guard is going to take an unfortunate collision. Nock really needs to catch up right now because Hero has a nice lead and they need to capitalize off it.
Yeah, he's going to use that Team Nitro, I think, because he needs to actually close the gap here. If he can make top 3, there is a world for them to win it. Cool also.
Oh.
Oof.
World comes in and completely knocks Nock back, and it looks like Kwangdong Freaks with the 2-3-4 control is just gonna win despite Hero coming in first.
2-3-4, a very strong midfield win condition if you have that much power. And once again, Guard and Hojun feeling absent here. It was Nock. After that one collision, there was the only one who could contest for top 3 to win it for them, and then he got pushed back, and that was the end of the story. Despite a really great control from Hero all race long and great racing and even a track record, it doesn't matter. Even if you're, look at how ahead he was. He's nearly a full second ahead. Even if you're that far ahead, you've got to do something with your midfield control, and that's where Kwangdong Freeks just outclass them. And they will keep first place in the standings. All they need to do is to win 3 item tracks to actually take that 5-0 and be 1 series away from the perfect season and our opening season of KDL here.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Kwangdong Freaks, they take the speed win 3-1. Now, they just need to win item to not go to that ace match. And that is certainly what the fans of Kwangdong Freaks would want to see. The defending champions going undefeated here in the regular split.
MIRAEN, SEJONG really not playing up to, I think, the potential of the players we're talking about here. I mean, Guard, fantastic sweeper, great midfield player, one of the best. I mean, he and Spear, in my mind, are the 2 best, actually, at this position. But he's just getting outclassed by Spear. And now we move into item mode. Let's see where we're headed. We're going to Mushroom Caves first here. Then we're going to Magma Cavern, Misty Falls, World Tour London Night, and then Cemetery Circuit. It is the choice of MIRAEN, SEJONG. These tracks, just like we saw with Liiv SANDBOX picks, do feel like they want to take that early edge, push for the distance advantage, and look for those types of wins. But it's not necessarily going to happen that way. They need to be very careful about how they approach these, or else they're not going to be contesting for that top spot come the end of regular season.
Meanwhile, the track picks for Kwangdong Freaks certainly telling an opposite story. Rather than playing for the tempo, it seems like they're going for the classic tracks we're used to. More about the item synergies as now we get ready to enter item track number 1 here in Forest Mushroom Caves. And we begin our first round of item between MIRAEN, SEJONG and Kwangdong Freaks as we see a very early Angel picked up by Seongnam.
Yeah, very early UFO tossed in there, and World will eat it. Guard gets an advantage here with Hojun. Item priority for MIRAEN, SEJONG, so feeling confident about this one more than being able to win in speed. And, you know, Hojun had his struggles for sure earlier, but he's having a good start here now. Does hold the EMP.
It really looks like MIRAEN, SEJONG have a pretty good control of that midfield, and given that Mushroom Caves can be played in a tempo way, it is looking pretty good as Kwangdong Freaks, they have a water bomb for response. Hojun's gonna dodge that one.
Off with a nice shield here. We'll deflect that, but we'll get caught by an EMP, which means it's an opportunity for World to push towards that first place spot. Lots of shields and angels here. Going to be popped as I say it to keep Nock in first. He only gets 1 shield though and doesn't use it correctly there to avoid the water bomb. We'll use it right afterwards, but man, Kwangdong Freaks, they have Seongnam in position. They've got a great set of items. They have a UFO, double nitro for Spear as well, so he's going to get right into the thick of things in just a moment.
And you can see Seongnam is really stacked on the defensive items right now. You can see now Spear going for the first place spot with his double nitrous. He's holding on to it, and a nice water bomb is going to catch some players from Cool.
Yeah, it looked like the timing in which he boosted through, he was able to pick up an additional nitro there, so kept double. Did get hit there though. Will have to drop his shield. Doesn't have a magnet here, just the 1 nitro. Let's see how good his timing is. Oh, that Wisp pickup is so insanely lucky. 400 meters.
He gets knocked out. Hero, he dodges that water bomb just barely, and the Angel's gonna get popped. The UFO is not going to be enough, and Hero brings home the victory of item round 1 for MSJ.
Massive, massive for Hero there. that he avoids that water bomb. If he gets hit by that before the Angel comes out, because the Angel was timed right after that, then it's a totally different story. World probably crosses the finish line first, and then KWANGDONG FREECS takes the first one. But he's going just so fast, that water bomb doesn't connect. And MIRAEN SEJONG get to put one more on the board here. Very close race, though. And,
Yeah.
I mean, they really have figured out how to play this kind of tempo-based style here on these wider, less environmental hazardy tracks where you're not looking for those timings.
Seemed like Hero came in almost 4 seconds sooner than the second place player, and that's the playstyle we know Hero for. He loves just constantly being in first place, and when you have that strategy working out for MIRAEN SEJONG, it can be pretty scary for KWANGDONG FREECS. They were able to beat MSJ in speed because it felt like MSJ was off their form, but perhaps in item mode now, MIRAEN SEJONG, they're looking to bring it back as now we get ready to enter the second track of item, and that is going to be Mine Magma Cavern.
See if KWANGDONG FREECS can tie us up here. Mine Magma Cavern will be the choice of KWANGDONG FREECS here in item. Their track selection. Hojun, avoid that barricade. Cool with the nice shield.
Seeing some good dodges coming out from our players as we see Hojun getting slowed down by the UFO. World with a nice pickup there on double shield.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice angle he took there. He used the break. His spear actually attempts to go for a big alarm play. It totally whiffs. And, you know, he's famous as a sweeper. That wasn't quite the sweep he was looking for.
A bit of an unfortunate one, but Hojun gets a great usage out of his Siren there. Manages to knock out a player off the track. And you can see, it's all about World and Hero contesting for that first place spot.
World double shield. We'll have to use one here, as Nock will actually hit that Siren. And Hero's gap is not that big between him and World. Definitely something that World can catch up here if he gets an aggressive item. He's just not. And the defense here of Hero is quite nice here in the midfield. And now that gap is widening a little bit. Now you've got top 3. Even got the scanner here, which isn't going to be too useful, but...
Wow, look at the minimap. You can see KWANGDONG FREECS so far behind. World is the only hope along with Spear to try to catch up, but Hero, he's really building a gap along with Hojun.
Yeah, and this is exactly how you want to play this. Spear going to use the magnet to try to pull Hojun back, but that's why you have 2. That is massive. That is so huge, because if you just get Hojun with that magnet, Hero pulls through, it doesn't matter. Hero's going to shield that lightning, grabs another shield here. I mean, he's still the hope here for MSJ, but that there's definitely a much bigger chance. It used to be great bomb here. Now it just looks like there's too much of a gap to catch up.
Yeah, certainly so. MIRAEN SEJONG on a roll right now. World's gonna get caught by that one. Hero looks like he has a free field for himself, and he does go in first place. The lightning does not come in fast enough. MIRAEN SEJONG now 2-0 here in item mode.
Yeah, MIRAEN SEJONG really looking clean in item today, and that style we saw from them there where you push 2 up and then they get ahead. It's not quite the style I'm talking about where we saw Jimin attempt earlier where he gets ahead by himself and tries to pick up shields. This was calculated, this was coordinated. Those 2 front runners were defended. There was item support, and they used the midfield to actually pull Cool and World back. Seongnam as well struggling to get forward. And then you have just too many backup plans for KWANGDONG FREECS to push through when they use that timing on the 3rd lap specifically. Because otherwise, eventually, somebody's going to get a UFO, somebody's going to knock you down, they might have a lightning, they can make their push through. But no, it just did not happen. MIRAEN SEJONG really prepared extremely well coming into item mode today, and maybe they'll sweep it, who knows?
That's what it's looking like here in item. We played 2 tracks, and they both went in the favor of MIRAEN SEJONG. Now 1 away from forcing an ace match against KWANGDONG FREECS here. The track is going to be Forest Misty Falls, and it's picked by MSJ. Let's see what happens here. A 2-star difficulty track for the match point round for MIRAEN SEJONG. As we see Guard, he's going to stick behind and pick up Nitrous as well as the Magnet.
Yeah, not exactly what he was looking for, but luckily the Magnet kind of saves it for him so he can get back into the middle of the pack. Guard here, currently in first with a Nitrous, and no attacking items near him, so great dodge there by Spear. He's just going to kind of hold on to this one, put that shield out. Not going to be useful against the UFO. Unfortunately, that's really unlucky combo he got hit with there.
That attack is now going to open up so much more room for World and Spear to lead. Now World, he is forcing out so many attacks to come out from MIRAEN SEJONG aggressively. In fact, Spear's got 2 shields himself.
Now, if KWANGDONG FREECS want to use the strategy we saw just moments ago, they're going to have to attack Hojun. They're going to have to put some additional support so that World can actually keep this lead. As you can see on the picture bottom right, the mini-map, he is massively ahead, but he needs support. And that's going to have to come from Spear. That's going to have to come from Cool, because this gap is getting closed, and I just don't think it's going to work out here for KWANGDONG FREECS. They didn't have the items to support this, and it's all coming out flat now. And now they're way outnumbered. And MIRAEN SEJONG looking fantastic here.
They are leading out so far once World fell back. Now it's Guard and Knock looking to lead. And just as you said, Wolf, it seems like KWANGDONG FREECS don't have a lot of response. They have the magnets, but they need to get within range to target MSJ.
Yeah, Guard also has an EMP available. He's going to use it here to absorb that UFO. And I mean, this is looking really rough here for KWANGDONG FREECS. Like, the gap is large. The tools they have are very limited. Like, that Wisp that Seongnam has isn't going to be useful at all. And Guard's got shield and EMP. There's nothing that could stop him basically here. Magnet going to come out as well. He's got all the support in the world. And I think this might just be all said and done here. Might be the 3-0 sweep. Hojun gets caught, but Guard, he's so far away. Shield's out. Second shield available. And World only has a water bomb. He's given up. Spear spins out, and I think that's going to be it.
It certainly seems like it. Guard, he's going to get targeted down by the UFO, but look at the map. There's no players nearby, and Guard finishes off item round 3 in first. That is 3-0 for MSJ. They're able to bring it back here in item.
That is some of the cleanest item play on this patch that I have ever seen. Both those last tracks were so clean from MSJ, and they did basically the same style twice. One on their opponent's map pick, one on theirs. And what KWANGDONG FREECS tried to do was very similar, right? When they were actually in the lead, they had World way up there. He had a huge advantage, but they didn't understand how to support him as well. And obviously, you can't always choose when you have that advantage, but those at MIRAEN SEJONG, they're always pulling up like that right on that third lap. They've got their items stacked up to support those top 2 players, and that was scary. We are going to an ace match, and it's wild. You know, we expected this to happen, but it was dominance from KWANGDONG FREECS on speed, dominance from MSJ in item mode, and both these players are both these teams are super teams. I think KWANGDONG FREECS has so many players they could choose from here. You could literally put anyone on the track, and I'd be like, yep, I agree with that choice. I think they'll probably go with Cooler World. On the side of MSJ, it's got to be Hero, right? I feel like even though Hojun is the Emperor and he has the experience and he has looked great in solos, I feel like Hero's your man here. That's my take. What do you think, Peter?
Well, MIRAEN SEJONG, they played in 2 ace matches so far this season, and one time it was Guard against Diamond. Guard lost that one, and then next up it was Hojun against Looning, and Hojun won. So you kind of have to think maybe Hojun's going to come out again because he's already done it once, but just as you put it, Hero is a phenomenal ace match player. He's known for being able to stay ahead so well, so I think it's going to go down to who's feeling more confident today.
Yeah. The Guard choice, I remember that track as well against Diamond. He kind of choked, and it was a really sad one. That's the one loss they had. We're going to get the reveal here in just a moment. First, the track. My favorite track, Glacier Extreme Stadium, the one that's got everything. It's got hairpins, it's got some really tight turns early, it's got wide open patches where your lines matter a lot. It is one of the biggest test tracks you can have in a 1v1 in the ace match. The player reveal, drum roll, who's it gonna be? Is it Cool coming out? Is it World? Are we gonna have Hojun? Are they giving Guard another chance? It's gonna be Hero versus World, a sick matchup. Couldn't have asked for more in this series. The stakes are so high. Even if MSJ win this, they can't take first place, but they will be right on the heels of KWANGDONG FREECS, so it is still so important.
You called it, Wolf. You knew Hero. It was his time to shine and come out in the ace match. And if any of you guys, the viewers, missed the preseasons, World has been so good at ace matches that he's been competing for that ace match king spot with Jung, who's no longer here, but now he's got to prove himself yet again here against Hero as we enter our ace match. The map is Glacier Extreme Stadium.
It's an ace match. MIRAEN SEJONG up against Kwangdong FREECS. Our top two teams here at KDL 2023 are going to battle it out. Hero, chosen by MIRAEN SEJONG, has the lead. World, you mentioned it earlier, one of the best ace match players we've seen in Cartwright Drift. And it's so close already out the gates here.
You can see World just so calm and collected. Actually, both players having a pretty similar heartbeat. You know, it goes really high when you have these ace matches.
Oh, it certainly does. World with some cuts there to try to block Hero and build some additional Nitro gauge. The Nitro almost dead even between these two right now, but Hero does take the lead. Hairpins are always where we see one of those players attempt to do something risky. The one who's behind usually has to take the riskier line. World will do just that, but Hero matches him and blocks him. And even takes a safer one there. He's not going to gain too much distance here, and Hero maintains the lead.
Hero went in for the left side there to try to block World out, but World had a nice read on that. He went for the right build, and now Hero, you can see him building a lot of booster gauge, taking the aggressive cuts, utilizing his advantage.
Yeah, he's got about a 20% Nitro gauge advantage right now. You can see that on top left when they do get those. And his blocks have been pretty fantastic. World is so good at holding his leads, but he's not, I think, as good at passing. I say that, he does get the pass, he does use his Nitro early and wants to actually control these lines here. That was a risky call from him, but it may pay off if he can also defend. Like I said, he's so good at defending his leads. Now, he took a great risk. That was a great strategy. Let's see if it pays off here as we move into the second hairpin turn.
World having a great read on his opponent right now. Hero, however, he took the line that gave him the lead. Now World, he responds with a twist of his own, and now World is the one in the lead.
Okay, here we go. Final 500 meters here. Hero boosts early to try to take the line. Is it enough? It's so close, but World, he still has that Nitro, and you just can't pass this guy. You just can't pass World. If he takes the lead, he is never going to give it away. That was a really fun ace match, though. One of the more competitive ones we've seen here. The World will take it. Kwangdong FREECS 5-0, still undefeated. One race left, and they might have the perfect season. And World, he handled that so well, but you got to give credit to Hero as well with his jump there. The boost, the line he took, he nitroed early, hoping that would give him just enough of an edge, but it wasn't to be. 36 boosts apiece, but that final boost for World is what crosses the finish line first.
I loved the cuts coming out from World near the end there. He had a really great read on Hero, and it was so close, as you said, Wolf. Off that jump, it felt like it could go either way, but World just had a better read this time, and Hero, you can see, he's motioning to the camera that he's sad, but MIRAEN SEJONG, they're having a phenomenal season so far, so a loss against a team like Kwangdong FREECS, I'm sure is not going to upset them too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think the weight is not really on Hero's shoulders here. I think, you know, if you want to look back at what went wrong, I think a lot of it was in speed mode, where we saw a bit of an underperformance from Guard and Hojun there, and item was fantastic. That was some of the best item I've seen since I started casting Cartwrighter. The ace match, though, like, I mean, Hero, he raced well. You know, I think that's why I had the kind of joking cry face, because he's like, I didn't win it, but this one's not on me. I played well, but I respect my opponent because he was better today. And wow, this series, we knew it was going to be good, but I think it really, really, really delivered. And who knows? You know, if MIRAEN SEJONG can make some potential changes for their speed mode, they could be the team that goes to the finals. This might be a preview of what we actually see in our first KDL finals here in 2023.
That's exactly right, Wolf. This is indeed the preview of the finals currently, because these two are our very best teams in KDL currently. And this time, MIRAEN SEJONG, they're unable to take down Kwangdong FREECS, but if they can just improve speed, then they might just take the whole entire match with 2-0 in sets. Not even that. The ace match was so close that next time they face off, it could certainly go in the favor of MIRAEN SEJONG. But today, Kwangdong FREECS is here to smile, and they delivered us one banger of a match.
Yeah. That one boost from World where he was just like, that's it, I have to pass him right now, right before this turn, and then I can defend it. That was so sick. All these players are so good. And with our, you know, new changed format for solo finals, you know, we have those really tight battles there at the end, and that's, you know, World's forte. Cool, very good at this as well. World, as you mentioned in preseason 2 especially, really was the carry for Kwangdong FREECS in the rare cases where they did have ace matches, because it was quite rare. Really pulling his weight, and there's only one match left for Kwangdong Freaks. So if they get that perfect season, even if they don't win the tournament, like they're going to be able to say that they're in the first KDL season didn't lose to anybody in regular season, and that is pretty awesome to say.
That would be pretty crazy. But now MIRAEN SEJONG, off this loss, they are going to be 3-2 in the standings. So now they are tied up with so many teams. There's Liiv SANDBOX, there's Desperado, Seongnam ROX. 4 teams are sitting in 3-2 right now. So this last push for postseason is going to be really intense.
It is going to be really intense. And let's take a look at today's results to kind of remind you guys of where we started before we got to that very tense ending. We did have Desperado crush always. They only were able to take one set of item there, unfortunately. Pretty one-sided affair.
Yeah, this was probably the most one-sided match we've had today. And Desperado, off that, they are in the playoffs contention. Our only amateur team to be 3-2 right now. So a great day for them there. But honestly, for Team Always, it just feels like they need to work on their support for Diamond.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, Diamond can't do it all alone. There's always a lot to work on. You know, maybe you'll learn something in your next match. Maybe you'll qualify for next season. But yeah, there's still improvements that need to be made. Desperado looking very good. In our second series, we had a pretty close series, actually. Like, Liiv SANDBOX did do very well in speed, but item went down to the wire, went to that 5th one. It looked very likely we were going to go to an ace match, but ultimately Liiv SANDBOX stopped that from happening. They took the 2-0. I think it was a statement win for Liiv SANDBOX. It does feel like, okay, they're back a little bit, as you were saying. But I'm also feeling it like it's not like they looked good, but ROX didn't look bad, and Liiv SANDBOX didn't look massively better than ROX, if you know what I mean. So Seongnam ROX definitely, I think, could upset them if they face off in postseason, for example.
Just as you put it, if you look at the round scores, it looked one-sided maybe for Liiv SANDBOX, but ROX, they put up such a good fight that we can say both teams were really well matched. But then our last match of the day, I think a lot of people were just kind of expecting a really close match, and it really delivered.
Yeah, it really did. Final match was crazy good, and the highest level play we've seen, honestly. And here it is, 3-1 for Kwangdong Freeks with some disappointing midfield from MIRAEN SEJONG, but Kwangdong Freeks, they looked clean. We go to item, some of the best item I've ever seen. I know I sound like a broken record on that, but you know, I'm pretty clear about this. I prefer speed to item. Like, that's the mode I like more.
Yep.
But MIRAEN SEJONG makes me want to watch some more item mode. That was really, really awesome to see. The ace match, very close. Great racing from both racers, but World, he took a risk. It paid off. He won the race off of it.
You definitely got to give props where it's due, right? I mean, like you said, you keep mentioning that MIRAEN SEJONG had a phenomenal performance in item, but it was just that good that it needs to be re-emphasized multiple times. And it was off their great item that they got a chance in the ace match. It was really close, and I'm really excited to see them play each other again.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we talk about item stats a lot, and Desperado got a lot of hype for their item win rate. You know, we talked about that a lot. Then they got crushed by MIRAEN SEJONG and item. And everyone's like, wait a minute, like, they always win item. And then MIRAEN SEJONG crushes them. But nobody was really talking about, like, how good is MSJ at item mode, actually? They crushed the other good item mode team. Then you watch them do that. You watch them do this. That's 6 in a row they have now on items in their last 2 series. They figured out this meta very quickly, and now other teams are trying to catch up. You saw Kwangdong emulating it a little bit in that 3rd track, but they just couldn't get their heads around it. And with our format, with item being weighted 50-50 with speed, you've got to have that in your wheelhouse. And this makes MIRAEN SEJONG such a terrifying team because you know that against almost anybody, they could force an ace match if they play like that.
Yeah, that's 9 round wins in a row for item for MIRAEN SEJONG. Going to put them at 12 rounds in total. So they are pretty firmly in 2nd place off of that round and set advantage over teams like Liiv SANDBOX, Seongnam ROX, Desperado. And it's going to be really tough, especially for teams like Desperado and Nutmite. I feel like these 2 teams are the ones fighting for that spot in wildcard.
And one mistake from Seongnam ROX, and maybe they also drop down to wildcard. Like, they're not secured by any means. We have straight up 1, 2, 3, 4 teams at 3-2 right now. Look at the set difference. 3-2-2-2. Like, it's really just 1 away. And yes, obviously that will make the rounds very important, but it is very close in the middle of the pack. Any mistakes, you know, or you win a series but you didn't go to the, or you went to the ace match, won in the ace, but you didn't win 2-0, might actually cost you some of those seedings, and of course, potentially that spot in top 4 so you can avoid the wild card match. So Here is what we have coming up on Saturdays. Same time, 6 p.m. Liiv Sandbox versus Nutmite. We have a clear favorite in both of our series as Kwangdong Freaks will then take on Always. And I actually was trying to look up who Kwangdong's last team was. I couldn't find it in time, and I was like, oh, we'll talk about it next week. Now we know. It's Always, so they're going to look for the 6-0 here. They're massively favored. And we move to the solo match. It's the redemption match. So all of the players who were just on the edge, they didn't quite qualify for the next round, but they didn't get eliminated. It's a stacked group of death. Ding, Squad, Hero, Striker, Scald, Will, Hong, and Wooju.
Yeah, these are definitely players that deserve a spot in our solo matches, so this redemption match is going to be huge. So we are really excited for this Saturday. You know, it's going to be our final day of the regular season. Before we get into the postseason, that is, and the team match just continues.
Fantastic day of KDL here with you, Peter. I'm glad you were by my side. We'll see you guys, of course, again on Saturday, 6 p.m. Be there.
Check if my name in your mouth, better add your respect. Otherwise, pressure gon' be at your neck when I burn you like. This ain't a game, my aim is the throne. I'm much higher than you, like a rocket, a drone. I'm powerful, think of a stone. Throw it off in my brain and I'm back to the bone.